Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Another episode, Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. We're just a couple average bros with above average fantasy football knowledge. As always, it's your boy T here with my fellow co-host, live in the flesh.
Ooh, yes, that's me. I'm a live guy.
It's Halloween time almost, but yes, he's alive. He's not dead.
Yeah. You know the difference.
Are we gonna dress up for Halloween episode? I'm gonna. You guys
I'm down.
You guys don't have to.
I'm down. That's horny.
Anyways, we're here, week 7. I say it with a question mark.
Yeah, it is week 7.
Episode 3-1.
Going over the matchups. Better late than never, but never late is better.
Is better. So we
B
need to get
will
better.
Make sure that you're never late. Just saying.
Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Mike, you want to hit us with that the sponsor?
Yeah, if you guys want to, if you like the podcast at all, even a little bit, even just like you're like, it's all right. Which I know nobody has that opinion. Everybody loves it. Help support the pod. Go check out Thrive Fantasy. It's a daily fantasy app. It's kind of like a prop betting app. If you put $10 in and you sign up and use promo code AverageBros, they will give you a free $10. So free $10 sounds pretty good to me. So just go ahead and sign up using promo code AverageBros. Thrive Fantasy, THRIVE. It's a daily fantasy app. It's pretty dope. We've been using it. We're up thousands and thousands of dollars. So
yeah, we're up to like what, 80K now?
80K.
I
Yeah.
don't even know. I can't even keep track.
Honestly, it's like just add another zero this week. You know we're gonna win. So
We're gonna make Thrive go bankrupt at this point.
yeah,
We're
you guys are giving us money through that promotion, and we're making money. Everybody's making money. It's a fucking money making venture.
We can't sponsor you guys anymore.
People helping people.
You're like up 10 million. It's
Yeah.
not even possible.
10 million.
We'll
One
be there
day.
by end of the year.
That should be like at least season 3 of Average Bros. If we're not there,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck. Anyways,
Someone just grew.
also, if you
Just
guys
got a
could leave
mushroom.
us, if you guys are listening to this and you get some information out of it, it would be awesome if you could leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app, or just even rate us 5 stars. If you're listening to the Apple Podcast app right now, just scroll down, hit that 5 stars. It really helps. So we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. This is a matchups episode. We're gonna just break down each game, go through who we think are worth playing, who we think are not worth playing, who's gonna be out, that kind of thing. So let's just get it started, huh?
Let's get it on.
What do we got first?
Let's talk about probably the most important thing right here, and that's your boy Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He broke his knee.
It is pretty wild.
He's got the knee.
That Thursday night game, they put his knee back in place. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's pretty hot, dude. You know what? All it reminded me of was when we were hiking. Remember when we went hiking and that kid's kneecap was on the side of his leg?
Oh yeah, he tore his patella tendon. He slipped on a rock and.
When we went hiking one time, and
Yeah.
the park ranger came and he was trying. But that's all I kept thinking about when I seen Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
And they were talking about his dislocated knee.
You're just waiting for the park ranger to show up?
Yeah, I was just like, like they're on the field, and I was like, yeah, we got the medic, but where's the park ranger? Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Dude, you're so freaking.
Yeah, so I guess
smart.
unless you're living under a rock, I mean, if you follow fantasy football, if you follow football in general, you probably saw Mahomes goes for like a QB sneak on a 4th and 1. I'm not even sure how it really happened. If like maybe like someone landed on his knee or.
I don't think there's like clear video.
Yeah, I don't even notice that. But dislocated kneecap. They actually came out and they popped it in place, like Mike said. You actually saw him pop it back in place. They did some tests, like MRI tests today on it. They said there's no structural damage, so it was just a dislocated kneecap. They popped it back in place, so he's probably just going to be sore. I was talking to someone about this though earlier. Like they're saying it's going to be at least 3 weeks until he comes back. But for me, it's just like, okay, like, you dislocated your knee. I get it. It's probably going to be sore. But, like, why can't you just throw a brace on it and just, jack him up on some pain meds?
You think it's Fugazi. You think there's more to it.
No, I just think, like, why can't he come back after, like, 1 week? Maybe 1 week to, like, really let him, why can't he come back in, like, Not
2
this
weeks.
next week coming, but in 2 weeks. You know?
I was listening to this doctor randomly talk, like it was just YouTube Patrick Mahomes, And he was saying part of the reason for that is like he's at high risk for more structural damage with that. So it's like if they rush him back too soon, something with the. I mean, we're not. If you listen to the previous podcast, you know we're not knee experts. We don't know anything about the knee, but this guy does. So it's like he was basically saying that like with the ligaments and something like that, basically that stretching and pulling and putting it back into place, he could be at risk for structural damage if he tries to come back too soon.
Yeah.
So it could be a thing where it's like, yeah, he could be back week 2, but if it's not fully strengthened or whatever, and the tendons and some bullshit, he can basically do structural damage that's going to lead him to being out a lot longer.
Yeah, I was reading something or listening to something, I can't remember, but they were saying like one person was saying like even though there's no damage to it, like he's gonna need some type of surgery,
Yeah,
which I don't know.
the
That
same
really
thing. He
makes
said the
sense
same thing, too.
because there's no like more structural damage. So I don't know why you need surgery for it. But he was saying like eventually he's gonna need surgery, so that's never good either.
Yeah, he
When
brought
you
the same
hear
thing
stuff
up
like that.
too as well. So it was like it was like a 20-minute video. I only got to like 8 minutes of it, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
Dan Marino had like 6 surgeries on his knee. I was watching Dan Marino thing earlier. That's why I know that.
Yeah, I saw you.
it's just crazy because it's like 4th and 1. It's kind of a freak accident. So I mean, Madden curse. What do you think?
Dude, I mean,
I mean, how many quarterbacks get hurt on 4th and 1? I mean, Tom Brady got like 3 rushing touchdowns on a one QB sneak last week. He didn't get hurt.
I think I've only seen him get stuffed one time, and that was last week.
Yeah.
But then he scored right after that.
Yeah.
Wasn't Tom Brady on the cover, and then
Bill Belichick goes, "Hey, cut that shit." And they're like, "Okay."
But what do you
Okay.
think? Madden curse? I mean,
I don't know.
look at AB's life just spiraling out of control. Madden
Yeah.
curse?
I just think that was spiraling. Jesus Christ.
Sorry. Some of these audio files are different like
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a curse person.
Yeah,
Unless I put it on you.
I
that's
feel like
different.
if you really look deep into anything, everyone has some type of injury every year, a little bit, or like a tweak or something.
Yeah.
So it's like people kind of nitpick when they look at the Madden curse. So I just don't. I don't know. I don't really subscribe to that. It's like when people talk about astrology. It's like, yeah, if you really look deep into any astrology, you're gonna find some kind of
you can link
correlation.
You can link yourself to every sign if you
Yeah,
want to. Oh,
yeah.
dude, I'm hell at that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm so water sign.
So I don't know.
I guess the important thing is the impact with the players outside of Mahomes. Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, the running game. It kind of, what's your guys' kind of take on that? I think Matt Moore's supposed to be the backup.
Matt Moore is the backup, yes.
Yeah.
He won some games for you guys in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not bad.
He took us to the playoffs, and then the Steelers
And
just
the Steelers
raped us.
just, yeah.
Full Ben
Oh,
Roethlisberger.
what the fuck?
Ben Roethlisberger does.
My personal take is I don't think it really does too much to Kelsey or Hill. I think Hill's a home run threat. It's still the Andy Reid offense. Is he Patrick Mahomes? No, he's not Patrick Mahomes. But I don't think there's too much of a. Kelsey's still a top 3 tight end at the end of the day. Tyreek Hill is still a top 12, 15 receiver. So you're not losing. It's not like we're Juju went from a top maybe 10 receiver to losing Big Ben, and now he's a bottom. Like a outside the top 20 probably. So it's like I don't think it's anything massive with that. I think the running game is where it gets a little tricky, where it's like does this affect the offensive scoring as a whole? It seemed like Damian Williams was basically he's the backup to McCoy, but
Yeah.
they're just not running the ball in general that much as a team as a whole. So does that change going forward with Matt Moore in there? So there's some factors in there that we'll be able to see after this week coming up.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you still, like you said, you're still starting Tyreek Hill. You're still starting Kelsey. It's just kind of funny because I was playing against one of my buddies in one of the leagues. He's got Tyreek Hill going against me. So as soon as Mahomes went down, he was like, there goes Tyreek Hill's value. Probably going to put up a goose egg. And I literally texted him, and I was like, no, not necessarily because, we're Dolphin fans. So Matt Moore used to play for the Dolphins. And I was like, honestly, Matt Moore is not afraid to chuck it deep. I was like, he hit Kenny Stills deep all the time. And literally, like 2 plays later, he hit
threw that one.
Tyreek Hill for a touchdown. And I was like, I like how I just fucking jinxed myself.
You're like playing against him.
And I'm playing against him. But so I think, yeah, I mean, I'm not really worried about Tyreek Hill. Obviously, it's the upside, is probably not as the same with Matt Moore as quarterback as it was with Mahomes. But I don't think it's like a huge drop off because Matt Moore is willing to stretch the ball down the field. I think like if anything, it affects like the other outside guys like a DeMarcus Robinson, a Sammy Watkins when he comes back. Those kind of guys now they're like dead to me.
Yeah,
It's Tyreek Hill and Kelsey only.
He's kind of like a Fitzpatrick-ish.
Yeah.
Like, he really is. Like, he'll go out and, like, I mean, I know there was, like, a 3-week stretch where, like, he was the number 1 quarterback in Miami. And Miami is nowhere near, the talent that they have and with the system. I remember 1 week in particular, he threw for, like, 4 touchdowns. It's like, so he'll go out there and have some big games. With Tyreek Hill, I think he's, like Tyler said, Kenny Stills was, like, I think, like, 6 of the 8 games he started, he had, like, a touchdown or something like that when Matt Moore started for half the year. So it's, he's not afraid to throw it up to those deep guys. He's kind of that YOLO Fitzpatrick type where, yeah, he might have the game where he throws 3-4 picks, but he'll have those games where he goes out and throws for 300 plus and 3. So I don't think it's, like you said, it kind of makes me shy away from the other guys, the Hardmans, the Robinsons. But as far as Tyreek, Kelsey, it doesn't really affect that. I think Damian Williams at this point is someone who's hard to trust, and I think McCoy's the only back I'm flexing at this point.
Yeah, it's just crazy because all 3 of them are getting run. It's like, and it's weird because Andy Reid's never been a guy to like have a running back by committee, let alone 3 guys out there. But they all 3 really are getting involved. I mean, if I'm going to pick one, it's probably McCoy. The more he's getting acclimated in the system, I think maybe he just kind of takes over. I mean, we weren't really high on Damian Williams anyways going into the year. And, like I said, us being Dolphins fans, that's where he came from. And we kind of saw how, he wasn't even the guy there behind Kareem Hunt. It was Kareem Hunt, and then he got suspended, and then it was Spencer Ware, and then he got hurt. So it's kind of like he was third in line. So you're looking at like the third-string running back almost who kind of only got
fell into the role.
Yeah, he kind of just fell into the role. And then now you're getting guys like
people.
Yeah, then you're getting the guys like, you see they sign LaShawn McCoy, they go out and draft a running back. Darrell Williams, I think, was already on the team. But so it's like it wasn't like he was this stud running back. It's like you said, he just kind of fell into the role. But yeah, so I think if there's one of those guys there, it'd probably be the McCoy who I'd feel comfortable starting. McCoy still looks pretty decent though too. He still got some, some moves for sure.
Yeah, he's in
that McCoy is so hot right now.
His moves. I like the moves. Yeah, it's kind of we touched on that. So we can move into the matchups.
Yeah.
Or was there any more? I think that was it.
I mean, I guess just if you have Mahomes, like who are some of the quarterbacks you're trying to go? You want to maybe just touch on those as we go through, like the matchups.
Yeah,
the quarterbacks
it's
you can try
the
to
one
grab.
nice thing I heard us ESPN I think talk about is if you have Mahomes, it's Thursday, so you could still actually pick up quarterbacks for next week.
Yeah,
you can't pick up Matt Moore if you're kind of like one of those Chiefs offense system people, but I mean, you could pick up like I guess we could talk about some of the quarterbacks, going forward. You can pick up like I can't think of right now, the Vikings quarterback. Cousins. You can pick up like a Matthew Stafford.
Sam Darnold.
You can pick up those guys before they even play this week and kind of have them going into next week. So you're actually kind of don't have to bid against the waiver wire or use that what is that waiver priority right now. You could go do it today now.
The FOB,
bro.
The free agent acquisition, oxygen bidding.
Yeah.
Oxygen.
Now it's oxygen.
Oxygen.
I can breathe.
Anxiety bidding.
All right. First matchup.
Let's do it.
Like your burps.
Let's hit these matchups.
Let's do it.
All right, so we got the first matchup.
Wait.
The Rams are.
Should we do a drop for it? I need to come on. I don't know. Just want to add.
Do one more time.
That's fucking horny, dude. All right, let's do this.
All right, so the first matchup, we got the Rams -3 at the
You forgot the
Falcons.
best drop of all.
When you're fucking headbutting, dude.
It was Rams Falcons 54-point over under. Starting on the Rams side of the ball here. What about Jared Goff here? So I think he scored 1.5 points last week.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is
that's
like
not.
That was not hot. That was a terrible performance.
How do you feel about Goff this week? Because I feel like people are kind of shying away from him. But me personally, Goff would be like a top 5 play for me in this matchup, just based on how bad the Falcons' pass defense is and the amount of points they're giving up. I love Goff this week. If you have him,
I think some
starting
people
him for sure.
I think some people, if you could just,
you might be able to find a couple leagues where someone dropped him. It's possible.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good matchup for him.
Especially for Pat Mahomes. If you had Pat Mahomes,
Right,
throw Jared Goff in there. I don't know.
I'll play. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead. I'm gonna cut you off.
No, you're good.
I was gonna play a name game real quick, like Aaron Rodgers or Jared Goff.
Goff.
Yeah, I was gonna say with no wide receivers to throw to.
I just think that's like somewhere like because people could have both those quarterbacks and they're like, oh, it's I think we've been kind of saying a little bit. It's like stop tying yourself necessarily to the name of Rodgers. It's different this year. But it's like, Goff had a bad game, and it's like, oh, he had a bad game. He only scored 1 point. And sometimes people overreact, and they're like, oh, he fucking sucks. I'm not going to play him. But it was like, it was a tough. Who did they play last week? I forgot.
The 49ers.
Yeah, and the
Which
Niners
is
the
looking
Niners,
like top 3 defense. Overall.
Yeah, they give up 150 yards passing per game. That pass rush is nasty. Gurley was kind of he was out. Malcolm Brown got banged up, so it's like they were ahead. They were just pinning their ears back and just going after him, and he was struggling. But this Falcons offense can't stop anybody. So
Yeah.
I like Goff this week. Just like Tyler said, I think he's a top 10 play for sure. Maybe even top 5 upside this week.
Ooh, top 5 upside.
Yeah. You don't think so or what?
No,
You
I
don't
think
think
that. Wait, I mean, you're playing against bottom 3 defense. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one thing I could just say for Goff is that the line over there has been really bad for the Rams, and it just shows you how important having a good offensive line is. You see, like, for example, the Cowboys. Their offensive line is so good, and that's why that offense is most of the time pretty good. The Rams' offensive line is terrible this year. And Goff's been getting pressured a ton, and when he gets pressured, he hasn't been playing good. But the Falcons' defensive line, and their defense is one of the worst defenses at creating pressure. Yeah, that's how they're.
That's how bad. That's their offensive line coach right now in the other room. Fucking
just block.
send me someone who can pick up someone.
But yeah, the Falcons.
Yeah, if people don't understand what we're talking about, there was a crying child in the room next to us.
Yeah.
And this is the Fantasy Football Podcast, Average Bros.
Yeah, we had to book our studio hours at this time, so there's nothing we could do about it.
Yeah.
But sorry, what were you saying?
Anyways, the Falcons' defense not good at creating pressure. They're like bottom 3 in terms of pass rush, pressure forced. So Goff should have some time.
No, good.
What, dude?
No, just laughing
No.
at you saying that.
The way it came out, like it
You're
was
he's
pass
like,
rush
it's
pressure
like
force.
the pass, pressure, I don't know, force or.
It's like
But you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like,
it was just I was laughing at the same thing because the way it came out, it just sounded.
so they're
kinda
not
like,
good at that, and then they're giving up 30 points a game. The Falcons. So I like Jared Goff.
Yeah, that pass rush pressure force attack. But yeah, I just kind of like throwing out some so if I was telling you Jared Goff was playing the Dolphins defense this week, would you start him?
Yes,
Yeah, would you rank him like a top 8 play?
top 5.
Top 5. If I told you he's playing the Cardinals.
Top 5.
Yeah, so the Falcons are what the Dolphins and Cardinals are. They're literally
They are what we thought they
are
were.
what we thought they were. They're literally giving up the same amount of points as the Miami Dolphins and Arizona Cardinals as defense. So kind of just reiterating where it's like, people see the Miami Dolphins start everyone against them. They see the Cardinals start everyone against them. It's the same thing with the Falcons. They're literally 0.2 points less per game than the Miami Dolphins, which is the same thing. So it's basically the Dolphins defense out there for the Rams. So
Yeah, dialing them up.
With that said, I think Gurley, is he ruled out already?
No, Gurley's gonna play, is what it looks like. I think he.
Yeah.
I think he has no injury tag. He wasn't
It's
on the
like
final
quad-
injury
he,
report.
but he had that
contusion.
quad, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't on the last injury report that was just released. So it's looking like Gurley's going to play. If he's playing, I'm definitely down him up in this matchup. And then you got guys like Malcolm Brown, Darrell Henderson, who kind of stepped in for him. I think they're non-existent. As long as Gurley's in there, those guys are non-existent. I think Malcolm Brown's actually doubtful. He's got the thigh contusion this week.
Those contusions are just going around there. L.A. It's because they're Rams. They keep headbutting each other in the middle of practice. Receivers, I think you dial all 3 of them up.
Yeah, I'm definitely dialing him up. I think I actually would have probably have Cooper Kupp as my number 1 overall receiver this week. So I think he's gonna have a monster game. And then Robert Woods, he's gonna get his. I think it's Brandon Cooks who's been kind of hurting people. So maybe they're kind of skeptical about starting him. Do they not? Flex guy. Like what do you do? But I would for sure be dialing him up. This game's in a dome. This is 54 point over under. I think it's the highest over under the whole week.
Yeah.
I mean, I want pretty much every piece of action I can get in this game. That's usually how it is. With the highest over under of the week, I try to get as many pieces in that game as I can.
Yeah, I think both quarterbacks throw for roughly 300 plus, if not 4. They might have both approached 4 in this game.
Do you play?
Just to be honest.
Do you play Gerald Everett?
Yeah. I mean, we're saying that, over under, as ugly as tight ends get. I know he had kind of a dud last week too, but I brought up that he had a 50-yard touchdown that he was overthrown by 3 yards. You know, if he has that, we're talking about him 3
Right.
straight weeks in a row where he's been productive. So, you know,
And they played the Niners last week. That's,
Yeah.
That's so hard. That defense is good.
yeah, I think he's gonna. You know, he offers touchdown upside, high scoring game. I think you can start Joe Leverett this week.
Yeah, I mean, if you went and picked him up, you know, 2 weeks ago or whatever last week, you know, and he had the dud game this week, don't lose faith. Like I said in the waiver wire episode, they play the Falcons this week, and then they play the Bengals next week. So the next 2 weeks, super good matchups. Goff should be playing better. The offense should be, you know, rolling on all cylinders.
Sound like a Rams
I'd
fan
be
right now.
I mean,
I
just
might catch you at the Coliseum.
You mean it's
the Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you're a Rams fan, so maybe you're watching the game at the Coliseum.
Oh, viewing party. I like it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Curveball, dude.
Oh, dude.
Got you, bitch.
Dude, strikeout.
All right, Greg the leg. Start Greg the leg.
Greg the leg. Rams defense. They just picked up Jalen Ramsey. They trade away Marcus Peters. What do you think? Rams defense here? I'm not necessarily sure if I'm sold on it just because, I mean, Matty Ice does throw some picks, but he also will throw for 300 plus yards. I'm
not mad
banking
at the
it.
Rams.
I think it's got to be
play.
one of those formats where it's like a really, like if you lose a lot of points for yardage, no. But if it's like where it's like, it's more like turnover type, and because sometimes I don't know how the fucking defenses score.
Yeah.
So you got to look at your settings. It's like, but if it's like if it gives you up a lot of yardage and you lose a lot of points because of that, I would maybe shy away. But if it's like you don't lose too
Turnover.
much for yards, more like sack turnovers, then I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's like format.
I don't
dependent.
mind. I don't mind the Rams defense. I think there's worse ones out there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pinch right now. I went last week and I won without a defense, and I'm sitting here thinking, God, do I do it again? Because I don't know. Because I don't want to drop anybody. It's the worst. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm still one of that in my leagues. I'm like, I can't fucking. But anyways, over to the Falcons side. I mean, this one's kind of quick actually. I mean, there might be a few players we discussed, but you're starting Matt Ryan. I know Jalen Ramsey's there, but he still has weapons. The tight end, or not the.
Yeah.
He has Hooper. He has Ridley. I mean, Julio Jones is like no one shuts him down.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter how good they are. It's like
Julio!
Do you see that video? Just kind of sidetracking, but you see that video? It's I think it was last week when the Falcons were playing the Cardinals, but Larry Fitzgerald was coming up and talking to Kyler Murray about it, and he was just like, "Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's the best number 11 in the entire league. You know, when they both wear number 11.
Yeah.
and he's just like, yeah, he's like that guy's a freak. He's like that guy's the best there ever was. Like blah blah. So it's just crazy to see a guy who's like Larry Legend, who's the,
Right.
like Larry Legend. You know, his future.
But he's
first Hall of
the
Famer.
kind of person that won't. He'll be completely honest with stuff like that though. You know what I mean? He is that person.
Yeah, but it's just crazy for him to be how good as he is and the accolades that he has to be like, no, like that dude's better than me. Like he's, so.
Yo,
It was not a flub.
it's not a flub, dude. He's fucking. He's being serious, bro.
Yeah. I think you're
was
dialing up
no
everybody
fucking
on the
flub.
Falcons
Yeah.
side here. I guess maybe the one guy who maybe wouldn't is Sanu, but we've kind of touched on it. He's actually had a really solid floor in PPR wise at least.
Yeah, I think he's that guy where it's like maybe in a 2 wide receiver league with 1 flex, you're using other options, but 3 wide receiver leagues, I think he's that like perfect 3 wide receiver 3. You flex him in a PPR type. You get your 8 to 12. If he scores, he has a good game for you. So
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a guy in a PPR league, like you're in a pinch this week and you just need to throw someone in there to get you some points, I think Sanu would be a good guy to just grab and throw in there.
And I mean, kind of given to what Ramsey could do, maybe, this is a game where Julio doesn't see 15, 14 targets. Maybe he sees 8 and, 2 or 3 of those go to Ridley and Sanu, so maybe he gets a little bit of a target bump this game. But you're starting Hooper. I mean, he's like top 5 option.
Yeah.
And Falcons defense, you're not starting. It's like starting the Dolphins D. Don't do it.
Yeah, just don't.
Don't do it.
Go
Baby,
anything
baby.
else.
All right, so
Speaking of the Dolphins,
the Dolphins.
Yeah, you used to do
You
that.
said you were
all
gonna have some drops ready. I think they're gonna be sound effects.
yeah, they're sound effect drops. You gotta hit the button.
I can't wait to hear what the Bills one sounds like.
I don't even know what a bill sounds like.
Is it like a ram but bigger? Or
Buffalo Bills.
I don't know what they sound like.
It's the Buffalo Bills are named after a guy named Buffalo Bill, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just science.
I'm gonna have to look up.
So you just have to be a guy. Be a
Look up
guy. Do your
Bill-
impression of a guy.
Bills attacking people. That's how I'll figure out how they
Is
sound.
it stay up till 3 in just watching Bills?
Bro, have you ever seen when a bill just fucking
Or a
throws-
buffalo?
What you mean? A bill
buffalo.
or a buffalo? What the fuck is a bill, dude? Yo, Bill Nye just totally attacks this guy.
know.
This is why you should do this podcast so
He
late.
totally just
I
chemistry
know.
So we
someone.
worked all day.
All right.
All right, Dolphins at Buffalo against the Bills, who are minus 17, 41-point over-under. Miami side of the ball, I don't think you're starting anybody unless you've got a gun to your head and you're in a mega pinch of,
pull the trigger.
I don't know. What about Drake?
That's the only thing
I think I'm
about.
probably the biggest Drake supporter, or one of the biggest Drake supporters, just in general. If I feel like with anyone, it's that I think I touched on it. 70+ scrimmage yards in 3 straight games. He just hasn't found the end zone.
Last week too, did he get 20 or 75 total?
Over 70, yeah, 3 straight games.
Nice. I'm like, nice.
Well,
And,
dude,
there's rumors of them trying to trade him. So it's like, do they work
I like having him on.
and do they try to like showcase his talents to try to trade him?
Yeah. I guess he's a. There are some bye weeks.
I just don't like Bill. I think Bill's defense is.
I think he's
pretty
basically the
good.
only player you can consider flexing, and it's kind of like a little bit of like a. This is a tough matchup, so I think he's on the desperation flex side, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get some volume. I'm gonna get a few receptions out of him in a PPR format. 3, 3, 6. Those are like his receptions over the last 3 weeks. Like you said, 75 scrimmage yards. So I think there's a decent floor. Not terrible, not like terribly low floor, but there's still something where it's like maybe you have like 3 players on a bye. You have like maybe you have Godwin, and you have a couple other players, and you need to flex like a running back who has a decent floor. I think that's a situation where you're starting because this is a brutal matchup in general. So, but the Bills do give up a little bit of on the ground because they're so good against the pass.
Yeah. One thing I can say, though, is that there are a lot of rumors of them trading Drake. So if that's the case and he does get traded, you might want to go pick up Mark Walton and maybe just go pick him up this week before, he does get traded or the waivers have to, go through. Because if they trade Drake, Balaj is there.
Who you want?
Drake, yeah.
Drake? Drake?
Jesus.
Mike,
Just
you're so
have
slow. Thought you got your right hand. But yeah, so like you were saying, pick up Walton, hold on to Drake, don't drop him, even if he has a bad week. Because if he goes to a good situation, like the Buccaneers would probably be a pretty good situation for him.
No, I didn't say drop Drake. I'm just saying, like, if you have a spot, I'd go grab Walton because if they trade Drake away, I think Walton would be the guy, not Balaj. We've kind of seen Balaj. He's more like a plunder. He's just not it. And
He's got a blindfold on.
good.
I've seen a little bit of flashes of Walton last week. So, and if they trade Drake away and Walton can get 15 plus touches, he might actually have some type of value. But
yeah, no, I was sorry. I was like, but I was saying, yeah, like grab Walton, and then I'm saying, but if Drake has a terrible week, don't drop him.
oh yeah,
Like just saying like, oh, Drake's like whatever, like hold on to him at least till the trade deadline goes. If you're in a shorter bench type of league, where you're looking to like whatever. I guess we can move on to the Bills side because you're not starting the Dolphins defense, so.
no, definitely
Or
not.
any of the receivers in this matchup. Bills side, Josh Allen, pretty good start this week. I think I was looking up his numbers last year against the Dolphins. He averaged like 30-something fantasy points against Miami last year. I know he had 4 touchdowns in one game. And the other one, I think he had like another 3, I think it was. So you dial him up against the Dolphins this week. With that said, Smokey Brown's probably one of my favorite plays, the wide receiver this week. I straight up traded Sony Michel for John Brown in one of my leagues. Just seeing his schedule, this matchup plays Miami twice, so.
I like that.
I like it all.
A lot, kid.
It's funny because you go to like these NFL experts rankings, and it's like they have Smokey Brown like so far behind Sony Michel, but it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, Sony Michel's a headache though.
Yeah.
You're trading away a headache.
You look at John Brown's pretty much been 10 points a game, and he's only scored 1 touchdown so far. And Josh Allen's missed him on some big throws. He could easily be, like every time Tyler says grab him, like I don't know how he's fucking unknown. He's a wide receiver too.
Yeah, like 40% available. Yeah.
And this stretch coming up for him is just money. It's like if he was a top 24 receiver with a tough to moderate, he had the Patriots in there, so he had some tough matchups. And if he has an easy stretch, he could easily be a top 15 player over the next 5 weeks. Like that upside's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And you don't have to deal with the headache of Sony Michel where it's like, well, fuck, snake touchdowns, Burkhead back, all this shit. So, but yeah, so start him. I guess the running backs here, you're starting Gore against Miami as like a.
I think it just depends. Devin Singletary is supposed to make a return from a couple game absence with the hamstring, so I think he gets incorporated. If I have Singletary, I'm probably playing him because he's an explosive guy, and I can see a 60-yard touchdown run.
Or 2, yeah.
So he breaks it off. But then even Gore is an interesting play as well because I don't think they just feed Devin Singletary like 15, 20 touches. Maybe they kind of limit him because he is coming off the hamstring, and those things do have or they do tend to flare up and get re-aggravated. So maybe they kind of limit him to only 10 or 12 touches ish, And then in a game where they should be destroying the Dolphins, I think Gore still sees about 15 touches and some goal line work. So I'm not mad at Gore as a flex play or even a low end RB2.
Yeah, he's kind of to me this week, he's kind of like a Carlos Hyde type. You're going to get a lot of carries, maybe a few catches. And then in a game where they should score a lot, I'd say the touchdown upside in this match is pretty decent.
Yeah, for sure. The receivers, like you said, John Brown, you're dialing him up. Cole Beasley's an interesting guy as well. PPR guy, we touched on it. I think he's scored pretty much 10 PPR points in every single game but one so far. So just a safe floor for a guy that, the ceiling or, the boom in him isn't really there. But if you just need a guy to throw in your lineup that, I just need X amount of points. I just want to get a dud. Cole Beasley's a guy you could probably throw in your lineup.
Yeah, if you're new to listening to this podcast, which is possible, when we say floor and ceiling, what that means is basically the floor is the minimum points they score. So when we say someone has a high floor, it means that the minimum points they score is usually pretty high.
Higher than
and then when we say ceiling, that means the maximum amount of points they could score is pretty high.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. Right?
Yeah. Some people
might be new to a podcast and we could, that first average bros could be I kind of like these guys. What the fuck is a ceiling? What the fuck is a floor? They building houses out there or what? Because I have no idea what they're talking about.
I feel that.
Average Bros Construction.
Yeah.
We'll help you build a fantasy team.
We'll help you build a fucking bank account.
I can see Mike with a little Zoolander with the hard hat on, just see my car for the money. Everyone is working.
All right, so tight end Dawson Knox here. Probably
Fuck
not.
it, send it in.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus,
Sorry.
so aggressive, Dan Marino.
Jesus, Dan.
Yeah.
Come on,
Dawson
Dan.
Knox, probably not, but he's an interesting guy just to keep an eye on. He's more of a dynasty probably guy, Dawson Knox.
Yeah, he's more nice because he's not Knox this week.
Not next. But the Bills defense dialing him up. I'm worried for the Dolphins here.
Yeah, it could be a massacre.
Yeah, this could be a massacre. All right, next game, Jags are -4.5. They're traveling to Cincinnati, going to play the Bengals. It's a 43.5 point over/under. So now you got the Ramsey-less Jags.
I think the Bengals could sneak away and win this game. Hot take. I think they could.
I mean, anything can happen.
I think they could.
Yeah, dude, the Angels can win the pennant.
They just lost Jalen Ramsey.
I mean, they still have A.J. Bouye. He's pretty good.
Hey, they still get some pass rush.
They still have
That's true.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Do you remember that game? They had 8 sacks against, or 10 sacks against.
Is that a Jaguar?
I think that's a dying Bengal.
It's Andy Dalton.
My biggest thing is I feel like we hear all this stuff, but I feel like the listeners can't hear it.
They
So
might not register.
it's just us reacting to nothing.
Yeah. But all right. Anyway, so Jack's side of the ball, you got Minshew mania. I know prior to last week, I think it was when they played the Saints, who actually have a pretty good defense. I think he was one of only 3 quarterbacks. It was him, Kyler Murray, and Patrick Mahomes for quarterbacks who've scored 16 or more points in every single game. I think he jumps right back on that train. He keeps dialing it up. The Bengals defense is just not good, and their best pass rusher, Carlos Dunlap's going to be out. Another pass rusher they have is going to be out. Their cornerbacks and their secondary is just decimated with injuries.
Yeah, is it Fitzpatrick? No, what's their
Kirkpatrick.
Kirkpatrick.
Yeah.
He might be out too, and he's their only solid corner.
They're just decimated. So I think this is a big game for Minshew. The only way I can see Minshew not having a big game is that if they jump out to a big lead, that maybe this is a heavy Fournette game. He's 30 touches, and he doesn't have to throw the ball that much. But even then, I still think 200 yards and 2 touchdowns is in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I've kind of said this with him a couple times now. It's he's maybe not this year, but he's like the Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Where it's he's top, 8 to 15 play. He's not going to win you the week, but he's not going to lose you the week. He's going to get you your 252. He gets a little bit of rushing yards, so that does help in a 4-point per passing touchdown. But good matchup for him. Safe floor. So now I said 4. I started thinking about what we were talking about. But safe floor in this matchup. I like Minshew this week.
Yeah, with that being said, Fournette, you're dialing him up. He could have 200 rushing yards. The Bengals' run defense
and no touchdowns.
It's not very. Yeah.
I just can't seem to fucking find the end zone because I only know that because I have him like every goddamn league.
Yeah. What about the receivers
Fournette.
here? You got D.D. Westbrook and then DJ Chark. I mean, I think with how bad the Bengals' pass defense is and all the injuries they have, I think you're probably playing both these guys.
Yeah, Chark should bounce back, and then he has the big play upside too. And then D.D. Westbrook's been seeing, I think they've been seeing about the same. D.D. might even have a few more targets over the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, they've been pretty similar. The only thing is that Chark's been like the long touchdown guy. D.D.'s been more of like the intermediate, short PPR kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, they're 44 and 45 in the season, pretty much identical targets. I mean, last 4 weeks, D.D. has a few more, but yeah, it's pretty much identical.
Yeah, just keep an eye on D.D. because I know he was questionable for something, popped up on the injury report, but all signs are showing that he should play. But if he's playing, I like D.D. in this one.
Yeah, and then I mean, there's no really tight end there.
Yeah.
The Jaguars defense, I don't hate it this week. I know they lost Ramsey, but they've been playing without Ramsey, so it's not like they had him out there and they don't have him anymore, like you alluded to. Like, bad offensive line, bad defense. Jaguars could control this, forcing Andy Dalton to drop back and try and throw it, and you know how he can get sometimes. So, there's definitely 4 pick upside in this matchup.
Yeah, the Jags' defensive line is pretty good. I mean, they drafted that rookie out of Kentucky, Josh Allen, I think his name is. You still got Calais Campbell, Miles Jack. They got some good, front 7 guys there. So I think the pass rush, I feel bad for Andy Dalton this week.
Yeah, there's going to be
Interceptions.
I still don't remember the Bengals side of the ball. Like, who do you feel
From
comfortable with on the Bengals side of the ball starting here? Because I mean, I'm not starting Andy Dalton. I mean, I think Mixon out of like.
Is AJ Green gonna start?
No, he's out. He's out.
The thing with Mixon is too, it's like he's that guy where like he has that name that like you have to play him. Like, you're not really benching Mixon unless you're like in an 8-man league and you have like some solid
I'll
depth.
bench him.
I'll bench him.
I was gonna
it's
say
like,
I will bench him, dude. I benched Juju last week. It was hard to do. I put Stephon Diggs in, and
I wish I would have benched Juju last week because I lost.
Dude,
by
do you
0.4.
do a podcast or something? Because that was a wicked good move right there.
Yeah, 40 points, dude. So
Yeah,
subscribe, bro. I gave him a call. I said, "Put up 40 points, bitch." Spit right in his fucking
should trade him.
mouth.
And he
Trade him.
He's like, "Cool."
Sell.
Sell. I was about to hit the space bar, but
Hit the wrong button.
I mean,
I don't know, man. It's
I
just
think
like,
it's Mixon and Boyd. These are, I guess, Auden Tate. The Messiah.
Here's the thing with
was talking
Mixon,
about
which
Auden
is-
Tate. So these are kind of 3 guys that maybe people are debating on playing. Because you're not starting Andy Dalton in this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just with Mixon. It's like they're not using him in the passing game the way they were last year, which is kind of weird considering that the system. Well, it's just weird considering he's a really good pass catcher, and it's like this is the Rams system in a sense. Like, you're seeing them kind of, 3 wide receiver sets, 11 personnel, and then the way Gurley was used, out of this in the Rams offense was as a pass catcher, but he's not really seeing a lot of targets and a lot of pass work. So it's like when they're chasing, a lot of the throws are going to the receivers and out wide, and he's not like. The thing with him is like I don't even feel comfortable if they're chasing because it's like, okay, at least he can get me 6-7 catches and have a decent PPR game. It's like he's still not seeing that passing game work. So, I mean, in a standard league, I can definitely avoid him. And not definitely, but if you have some good options, you can avoid him for sure. Even PPR, it's like he's not getting these big like passing work games to where it makes you feel safe about him. And the line is so bad, he's having trouble running the ball. So it's just an ugly year.
It's almost
for him
like if
in
he
general.
doesn't fall. A good comparison. It's almost like Drake. Like I think
was gonna
Drake's
compare him
actually
to
going to
Drake.
putting up more yardage. Actually, so it's like if he doesn't fall in the end zone, you're not going to be happy with the game because I don't think he's going to get enough receiving work and enough total yardage to really, justify you or for you to be happy with him playing right there. It's almost like Drake in a nutshell.
Yeah, I almost brought them up. Literally, it's funny you said that because I was thinking about bringing his name up, like Mixon or Drake. Who would you start in PPR? I think I'd almost say Drake in a PPR. As crazy as that sounds.
Drake because at least Drake's getting 4 catches a game ish.
Yeah, I mean, 19 targets in 6 games. That's like 3 targets a game. So it's not like he's seeing much. Versus where Drake probably has 30 plus. If I could just think off head.
yeah,
Kenny Drake has 29. So
that's crazy to say, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just
I
where we're at with
I
Joe
could-
Mixon at this point.
I could definitely justify that for sure.
All right, what about like Tyler Boyd, Auden Tate?
I think you're okay with Boyd still. I think he's like 5th in the league in targets. He's up there.
Yeah.
I know that for sure. So I mean, he's a volume based receiver. I know it is, to like Andre was saying last week, we were talking about Auden Tate. He's like, they throw the ball more than anybody in the league. So, you figure they're going to be chasing. It is at home. Dalton's gotten some garbage time work with some of these guys. So you think you're still starting Boyd in this matchup, even though it's not the best. Auden Tate's even him. He's been seeing, 10, 6, 12 targets. He's seen a ton of targets.
Wide receiver 3 flex kind of guy.
Yeah. I think you could still start these guys.
Yeah.
Because that pass defense isn't elite. It's the rush that's going to give him trouble, and it's shutting down the running game. But he can still throw for some yardage this game.
For sure. You're not starting the Bengals defense, and Eifert, I think he's dead to himself. So.
Dead to me.
Next game, we got the Vikings. They're -1.5 at Detroit. Going to play the Lions. 44-point over/under. Start on the Vikings side here. Your boy Kirk Cousins coming off 2 back-to-back good games. What's your thoughts on Cousins here? I like Cousins last week. I think we all like Cousins last week, actually. He kind of showed out. But I think I'd actually be fading Cousins in this one. Lions at home, defensive coach. I think division game.
I kind of wonder if this is a game where it's like, I know the over-under's decent. It's 44. But these are two coaches that they're like that old school style where like they both said we want to run the ball a ton this year. Even Zimmer came out and like, it's Mike Zimmer, right?
Zimmer, yeah.
He was like, we threw the ball 29 times. You happy? It's like, bro, it's not even that many times. He was acting like it was a lot. And it's like, these are two defensive-minded coaches, two like ground and pound type of like schemes in a sense. And this could be like
that's so funny. We let Joe Mixon rush the ball 12 times. What do you want?
What more do you want from us?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think this is a matchup where he's just a middling range option to me. I'd start, people like Minshew over him probably this week. Danny Dimes this week is someone I'd probably go with him over him.
Jared Goff. I think we can touch on him.
Jared Goff, yeah. But I know Cousins does have some good matchups coming up. So if he's someone if you're a streamer, I think he plays the Giants or Cardinals next week. So he has a good matchup next week. Someone who's maybe looking to holding if you're a streamer.
I'm a fan. I was thinking of that song. I'm a smoker. I'm a joker. I'm a fantasy football streamer. Doesn't he say stream? I don't know. Okay, never mind. Sorry, derailed the podcast for nothing.
There's Mike's one.
All right, so yeah, I think we're just gonna agree. More of like a matchup-based quarterback, Kirk Cousins, and this isn't really the best matchup. It's not terrible, but it's not really the best one either.
Yeah.
But just tough division game. So maybe if you have better options, you go with him. I think if you can still probably start him if like that's your only option. But you don't expect 300 yards and 4 touchdowns again because that's probably unrealistic. Dalvin Cook, you're dialing him up. He could be candidate for a fantasy MVP right now. And then it's the receivers here. So you got Thielen, you got Diggs. What's your guys' thought? You just said you started Diggs last week. Big game.
Yeah.
I was actually telling some people, a couple of buddies, I was like, sell him. I'd be trying to trade Diggs, if, right now, as if I could.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. This week, I think he's going to see a shadow from Darius Slay. And I think I was reading something where they're saying that actually Slay has pretty much limited him.
Yeah, he slayed him.
Yeah, he's slayed him every time they've pretty much played. So.
Sorry. Yeah, it was like I think he has like 70 yards in the last 2 games, like combined with against Darius Slay. So he's kind of like just one of the quarterbacks who just kind of plays tougher against him.
So with that being said, though, he just had the monster game and 3 touchdowns, right? You've been waiting for this all year if you had Diggs, and you've been putting him in dud game. If you stood pat on him, he got the 3 touchdowns for you. I can't imagine you benching him here, but I would just temper expectations. Are you starting Diggs again this week?
Yeah.
The thing with Diggs is like he always has that like he's like I feel like he's in this as of right now this year he's like an Amari Cooper of last year, but not as low as a floor. If that makes some sense, where it's like
right.
he has those games where you're going to be like, motherfucker, he just put up another 102, and it could go back to back. But he's also going to have those games where it's because he's that deep bomb guy, and he's Thielen's going to be more consistent, but he's going to have those games like that's not the last probably 100 plus 1 or 2 touchdown game he has.
Oh no,
it's hard to predict when they come though, so it's like that's kind of why I'm saying it's like the matchup might not make sense and it might not be good, but it could happen. So with him, just understand that this could be if you're playing him, understand it could be a 3 for 40. But if you bench him, know that you could also have that 6 for 100 plus and a touchdown. That's kind of his range. He has one of the biggest range of outcomes as like any receivers that you start, and that's what Cooper was. going into his Oakland days is like his range of outcomes were 2 for 20 or 1 for 10, or it was 150 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Diggs has that same kind of range of outcomes where it could fall in the middle of those, or it could be the extreme. So that's kind of who he is as a player this year so far.
Diggs or Tate? Golden Tate.
Oh, Golden Tate.
Golden Tate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Golden Tate.
How about Diggs or in the flex? I'm just good because you guys are asking me if I'm playing Diggs this week.
Diggs or
Sony.
What's the format?
Half point.
I probably I don't see that. That one's like I just threw up in my mouth twice. I didn't choke on a cock. I said I threw up twice.
Well, sometimes when you throw it
Diggs.
twice, that's how it
Fucking
happens.
send it in. Fucking send it in.
I think. Oh fuck! I don't know.
I'd probably go Diggs just because he could catch a 40-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Like Sony Michel's not breaking off a 40-yard touchdown. if Sony Michel gets me 40 yards and a touchdown combined for all the times he touches the ground, I would probably be happy.
If Burkhead's in for sure, Diggs. If Burkhead's out,
Dude, it doesn't matter. Dude, they'll put fucking.
Brandon
They'll
Bolden.
bring someone from practice squad.
They'll be like, "Hey, you, Patriot fan in the stands, you want to rush a touchdown in? Make a dream or make a wish foundation.
you're the winner.
They'll put some kid with fucking.
Get in here.
You
some
squashed
kid
my
on
CD.
chemo. Some kid on chemo who is fucking frail as shit will run a touchdown in before Sony Michel does.
I don't know. I think
Diggs.
we're just saying is like I don't know. I would temper expectations with Diggs
Yeah.
this week. If I had better options, if I stacked the receiver, I'll probably be benching him. If you're not, pray.
Yeah, I think I kind of was just bringing that up to understanding who Diggs is. If you're an owner of Diggs,
Yeah.
or if you're trading for him, like he's one of those wide range of outcome
Don't
type
trade
players.
don't trade for him. Trade him away.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thielen, I think Thielen still set it and forget it every week. I know he's had some up and down games, but I mean he's still the number to me at least. He's still the number one option in this passing attack. And then obviously lining up in the slot, he doesn't face these perimeter corners who are more elite. So yeah, I'd be dialing up Thielen. Vikings defense.
I think I'd rather go with like the Jags defense.
Yeah, I'd go with the Jags defense.
They're just an okay option to me this week.
Yeah, they'd be like in that back like 8 to 10 range maybe. I guess if I'm just off the top of my head, if I was gonna dial them, but you could do worse, but you could do better probably. Lions side of the ball here.
I mean, I could be wrong on this, but I just don't think Matthew Stafford's thrown a lot of picks this year, and I don't think he's been sacked too much.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's like I know they have a above average defense, but I don't think he's like throwing a lot of interceptions. There's a lot of like those points to be scored in a sense.
Yeah.
Or it could be a very basic like the scores maybe 21-17, but there's not a lot of sacks or interceptions type of games on both ends.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, sorry to go back to the Lions.
The Lions side, so Stafford. I mean, what's your thoughts? Like, who do you feel comfortable starting on the Lions side of the ball?
I mean, Stafford is kind of like in that Kirk Cousins range to me. Like they're kind of almost the same start. I think it's kind of a close game. I think they put up similar numbers. Kerryon Johnson. I mean, I think you still. You start him. He's kind of been inefficient on the ground this year, which was kind of surprising as much, compared to what he did last year. But I think he's, as far as volume goes, he's like top 6 or 7 as far as running back volume plays.
Yeah, he's getting all kinds of work now that they released C.J. Anderson.
Yeah.
No LeGarrette Blount there from last year.
He's still a volume guy. He's the goal line back there. He's still getting some receiving work. So still an RB2 in a tough matchup.
What about Galladay? I think Galladay's. I mean,
Set it, forget
you
it.
set it and forget it. Would you throw him in that category of
Yeah, I mean, he's just seen too much of the
just
target share.
what he offers on a week to week basis?
He's like that wide receiver 2 that wins you weeks still.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's just, I think I don't think he has a game below 7 targets. I'm trying to pull it up right now.
I think Galladay's a guy you're pretty much starting him every week just with the upside that he offers.
I mean, you'd have to have like Chris Godwin and like, I know he's on a bye week, but you'd have to have like Chris Godwin and
Throw
like,
him in.
I'm trying to think of situations like Keenan Allen and Chris Godwin, and then he took like that'd be like where weeks where it's like, okay, maybe this week you get away from Galladay, but it's like for the most part, I think he's pretty much set it and forget it. And even then, you're probably flexing Galladay still, even if you have those 2 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hot.
What about like a Marvin Jones? That's kind of the guy he's been up and down as well.
Yeah. I don't love him this week. He's more that guy where I like him in matchups where it's like I know the Lions have some good matchups where it's like I see more of a, pass heavy script where Stafford's thrown for like I think he's kind of a 250 type of quarterback this week. I like Marvin Jones in the matchups where I see Stafford is more of like a 275 to 3+ type of week.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And then T.J. Hawkinson, probably not. I mean, I guess if you're thin at tight end, maybe throw him in there.
I know the Vikings have some good safeties and linebackers.
He's had the case of the drops. He's dropped. Yeah, I think he could have like 4 touchdowns or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's dropped a lot. Isn't that nice?
And then Lions defense. I wouldn't start Lions defense.
Hey, you got the Lions defense? Don't.
Pups just put his asshole on my toe.
All right, Raiders. Next matchup, the Raiders in Green Bay going to play the Packers. Packers -5, 46.5 point over under. Let's start on the Raiders side.
This is kind of cool.
I could see the Raiders.
I think on the Raiders side, it's Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller.
Yeah, that's it.
Zay Jones.
And you got Tyrell Williams. He's out. He's got the plantar fasciitis or however you say it. So he's out.
Mike's the plant master, so ask him.
And then so they went out and traded for Zay Jones from the Buffalo Bills. He'd be an interesting guy to pick up because, I mean, if Tyrell Williams is out for an extended period of time, they really have no receiving options there outside of Darren Waller.
Yeah.
I mean, Darren Waller is kind of the wide receiver one there with all the targets and receptions he's been getting. I mean, Zay Jones is an interesting guy to just maybe go grab and throw on your bench because, I mean, what if he comes out and he has a game where he throws up like 7 catches, 80 yards and a touchdown? He's going to be the hot, waiver wire pickup going into the week. But if you grab him now before they even play and he has a good game, you jump the gun. You don't have to waiver priority or spend any fab on him. So just an interesting name, Zay Jones.
You can add him right now. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our league.
Interesting.
I know, piece of shit.
Tyler's like, dude, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up these guys. And I'm like, oh, good idea.
He's like, hold on real quick. I have to text someone. But keep talking. The whole time he's like,
Mike, what do you think about this? Hold on. You said Zay Jones? Okay.
How do you spell that again?
Hey, who should I drop?
Is it Zay? Z-A-Y? Okay.
Zay A-Y. Is that what you just said?
Zay-A-Y.
I don't know.
No, you said Z-A-Y.
Dude, fuck you.
All right.
All right, anyways.
Next. Team. The Pack.
The Pack.
Fuck you get.
That's nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Aaron Rodgers.
I think we're all delirious.
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
You're fucked. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I think we brought up some names we would start over him. I mean, he's missing a lot of his weapons, too.
Top 3 receivers are out.
Yeah, you got no Geronimo Allison, no MVS.
MVS is questionable.
I think
he
sure
could
wasn't
play.
I thought he said he was ruled out.
No, he's questionable. I think Geronimo's doubtful, and then Adams is out.
Out.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm someone was starting MVS and I saw zeros in the thing, so maybe that's why.
I think maybe he's trending towards it, but there's like a game time decision. But yeah, it's looking like they might not. He might be.
It's looking like he's gonna have.
So pick up Lizard if you need one.
He looks like he have Lizard and
Kumaro. How do you even say that guy's name? Jake Kumaro.
Yeah.
It's Kumarao.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe they make a move from Andy Sanders. They're one of the teams that's rumored for them.
Maybe they should make a move for AJ Green. How about you do that?
Oh, that would be
Get
nasty.
it done, Packers. Get it done. Send it.
I think the Packers got to make a move for someone. Whether it's AJ Green or, like I said, I was reading today, like Packers trade rumors. I know Manny's someone.
Dude, that gets me so
Manny
good.
would be nice.
They just need someone outside of Adams there, like because they're 5-1, right? 4-1.
5-1, I think.
Yeah. Just having that weapon, like for the playoffs and the stretch. Just getting the playoffs, you're playing better teams. Obviously, fucking rocket science over here.
I could see the Raiders winning this game though.
I mean, they could. 2 weeks to prepare. They're playing okay.
I like the points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him on a teaser.
Like him +8.
Plus like 14 or not for 7, usually like 12.
Super teaser. Okay.
It's probably like plus 12, plus 11 on the teaser.
Don't even try and explain to the listeners what a teaser is. We don't got time for that.
Packers running backs. I mean, you're starting Aaron Jones. Do you start Jamal Williams in this matchup? If you picked him up, I mean, do you flex him? Like, is he someone you flex over Kenyon Drake and Joe Mixon?
I mean, I think that
I'm just
without those receivers being there,
that's why I'm bringing it
maybe
up.
they do rely on the run a lot here, and yeah, you could maybe flex Jamal Williams. I mean, you're still playing Aaron Jones. He's still had a lot of solid games. I know people have been like all over the place with him, but he's had a lot of solid games. He's scoring touchdowns. But yeah, I think so. Let's just jump back to Aaron Rodgers real quick.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, who are some guys that you would probably play? 'Cause I would be fading Rodgers in this one too as well, and you don't want to like buy into the name, and get burned.
How about
But, like,
this?
who are some names?
Cousins or Rodgers?
I think I would actually go Kirk Cousins over Rodgers.
I just feel like that one's like a tighter one.
Like Kirk Cousins. What about Stafford or Rodgers?
All three of those guys are kind of like the same quarterback. As
Jimmy G.
I'd
See, who do they play again? I'd go Jimmy G over those guys, actually.
That one's tough because the Niners just aren't throwing the ball as much.
Yeah.
So that one's
It's a
kinda-
good match. But then they're running
Like
the ball down
Jacoby
everyone's throats.
Brissett or Aaron Rodgers.
Brissett.
I think I'm going Brissett.
Let's see.
What about like? Let's see. Yeah, what do we got here?
I'm trying to think of not some obvious.
I mean, you're
ones.
starting like Wentz and Dak over.
Yeah, I was like,
Rodgers.
that's an obvious one.
What about Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, I'd go Josh Allen. That's not even close for me.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Especially with his rushing upside, it's not that close to me.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Phillip Rivers or Rodgers?
I think I'd go Rodgers there.
I think I'm going Rodgers right there.
Yeah,
I think
against
that's,
the
I think that's
Titans.
kind of like the pivot
Yeah.
point of.
Yeah, he just doesn't. That Chargers offensive line right now is really worrying me. I think I actually would maybe still go Rodgers over Jimmy G. Kind of like I know the Redskins defense is bad, but they're the number one. They're like running the ball like 40 times a game.
Yeah.
So it's like he might not even need to throw the ball a lot this match against the Redskins.
Yeah.
Jimmy G still hasn't lost.
What about this Case Keenum then? Over they should be trailing.
I'd go Rodgers. That's a tough matchup for Keenum. The Niners are giving up like I think the fewest points to quarterbacks or fewest yardage. Some touchdowns are giving up. So I think I'd still go Rodgers.
So I think we're just saying he's pretty much out of the top 10 for us.
Yeah, he's not a must start. Cardinals, I'd start Kyler Murray. I'd start fucking Danny D slinging that dick over him this week.
Nice. All right. I just wanted to kind of get you guys'
Yeah.
gauge on where you guys felt with that. Because he does have that name of like it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'm throwing him in my lineup no matter what. Set it,
Well,
forget
like,
it. But
I told
he hasn't
my-
been that this year, and I think you've touched on that.
Yeah.
Probably more than anybody.
And I told Mike to I know we have lives and works, but I was telling Mike to try and clip it if he could. Last week was the Kirk Cousins call, over Rodgers, and I think we were both on there, but I knew you specifically were on it. And I was like, hey, clip that. I'm like, because that's a call that some people might not make, where it's like, they're still tying themselves to the name, but like
God,
Kirk
Mike,
Cousins
you
went out.
fucking
And,
suck, Mike.
like you said, like I was saying, kind of don't tie, and I know you liked Kirk Cousins a lot last week.
Yeah.
That was the start where it's like like if you would have made that decision, you could have won you your week.
Yeah. For sure. So, all right. So these receivers here, I mean, if let's say all three of them are out, MVS, Allison, and Devontae Adams. I think Devontae Adams is going to come back next week. I was reading something saying that he said his toe feels a million times better. So I think he'll return next week. But, I mean, are you feeling comfortable throwing like a Lazard or a Kumro, or I'm not even sure how to pronounce that guy's last name.
No.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those situations where like it could work out, but it also might not.
I think if
Someone's
you're
gonna
in a
get
deep
targets.
Spot, like say you had you have Chris Godwin, Juju, you got like
Odell.
a lot of and a lot of these guys on bye. Then maybe I could see where you just have to throw them in.
That's just like a literally Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Like you're praying. Like
I think
if
you start
throw them in your
Jimmy's-
lineup, you can't be mad if they give you like a 2 for 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah. They're like that like kind of like glory play where it's like, okay, cool, I got 5 for 80 and a touchdown, or I got 2 for 20.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck it, send it in.
I did that. I did that with Zach.
Play at your own risk.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like I did that with Zach Pascal, and I got like I think I got like 8 or no, I ended up getting like 11 points. But
Yeah.
even if I got like 6,
You were like, I'm not mad. 'cause I made the call.
I'm hyped.
Yeah. Jimmy G, I think you could start him in this game.
Yeah, I think he
He's
could be the
due,
guy who's gets a monster game because he's still a big guy and
Oh, you big boy.
big boy.
Oh, you big boy.
Packers defense. I mean, they've been
Yeah.
pretty good, pretty solid. They're at home in Lambeau.
Would you go with them or the Vikings, D? I think I'd go Packers.
I think I go Packers.
Yeah. Mike, you're the defense.
Derek Carr still sucks.
Yeah, he's what we call bitch made.
Yeah, he's like a Volkswagen.
He's like Jerome Bettis.
Dude,
The bus?
don't ever disrespect Jerome Bettis like that again.
I know.
You put him in the same category as
Yeah.
Ka.
Yeah, he's in the same category as Eddie Lacy. All right, chill.
Yeah, dude.
Jerome Bettis and Eddie Lacy have very similar like body styles.
Yeah, but the bus is a savage.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
All right, next matchup, we got Deshaun Watson and the Texans going to play the Colts. The Colts are -1, 47-point over-under. I'd like the over in this game. Just kind of, I don't know, random thought off the top of my head. But
Yeah.
Texans side of the ball here, I mean, Deshaun Watson, you're playing him. Receiver-wise, I think DeAndre Hopkins, you're dialing him up. Will Fuller, I feel like, after
Dial him
that big
up.
game, you're dialing him up.
He dropped a touchdown too last week.
3. He dropped 3. I watched the game. He
was it
dropped 3. I watched it.
He's like, no, he dropped 3.
I fucking watched it.
Yeah, I watched it.
It was painful.
He dropped one and went right through his hands. I'm like, all right. And then, I was doing something, and all of a sudden I hear in the background the TV guy goes, the commentary goes, oh, he dropped another one right through his hand. I'm like, fuck, because I got him on my team, I got him in 3 leagues. And then I watched him drop a third one. So he's still getting all those air yards. And I know, like you said, if you don't know what air yards are, that's pretty much, when the quarterback, how far is he throwing the ball distance-wise to, hit the receiver. And Will Fuller's air yards are, they're through
Top
the roof.
10
Yeah, they got to
top
be
10
up there,
at least,
top
yeah.
10. So I think you have to start Will Fuller every week, for that boom game, because he can win you your week, by himself. What about the running backs here, though? Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson.
I like Carlos Hyde.
Are you hard?
I'm
for
hard
Hyde?
for I'm hard for Hyde.
Bro, those words were hiding and seeking.
I mean, he's I think averaging 15 to 17 carries a game in that range. He still gets a few catches or targets. I know it's not like a sexy amount, but it's not enough to make you hard. But the running game's making you hard. So
Make you hide, though.
and then,
Make you hide.
It's a high scoring
Hyde.
offense. Like you kind of point out a bunch of times, he's basically like Lamar Miller. So it's like, would you start Lamar Miller in this matchup? Like, yeah.
I think, like you said,
That's a good way to look at it.
20+ carries in 3 of the 6 games. 10+ carries in every single game, and then goal line work. Like I said, a high-powered offense. I like Hyde. Duke Johnson scored a touchdown last week. I think I'd still be fading him, though.
He's like in
unless
that
you're
touchdown
in a desperate, you need someone. I'm in a desperate spot in one of my leagues right now, and I might have to play him, but
Would you start him over Drake and Mixon? Like they're kind of the running backs we've sat here and be like,
no.
Yeah, I'm the same way too. I'd start Drake and Mixon.
I'm in a super tough spot in one league, and I might have to start Duke Johnson, but I'm pivoting to maybe someone else. I'll bring him up when we
Sounds like Dookie.
Yeah. What about Darren Fells, though? So he's kind of been a tight end who's kind of come out of nowhere. I know the Messiah, Andre Navarro, kind of touched on him when we did the waiver wire episode, but couple good games here. He's 12 or more PPR points in 3 of the last 4 games. And then you got the Colts here, who are allowing the 3rd most points to the tight end position. Sneaky stream. I mean,
Do you think it was a flub?
no flub.
It was not a flub.
He's just over there thinking about how can I incorporate these drops over
Okay,
here.
fuck you, dude.
Fuck yeah, Dad.
Get better. Okay, I try to get better. What? And then I just
Well,
get
you were
shit
talking
on.
all this shit. I got my right hand available. Watch this.
Yeah, fucking on it, dude. I've been on it.
quick
been
drama.
on it like phonics.
Quick draw McGraw over here.
I am.
Pups, keep putting your
Quick,
asshole on my toe.
quick.
I think it's actually warming my toe up, so I'm not mad at it.
But Darren Fells,
That toe has a lot of circumference to warm up, so.
what are you thinking here? I mean,
Yeah, I don't mind it. Like you said, 3 of the 4 last games. I forget the points you brought
12,
up.
12 or more PPR points in 3 of the last 4.
One of the few tight ends who's tied to a quarterback who could throw 5 touchdowns in a game. So there's always that multi-touchdown upside built into him. He gets out of the top 5, 6 tight ends. It's like you're looking for touchdown upside, and he has it.
Yeah, I like it. I'm actually going to stream him in 2 of our leagues, actually. Me and you, we have a league, Anthony, and we're going to stream him. And then I'm also streaming in another league because I had Disley.
R.I.P. Right, obviously.
So in one league, I had Disley killing it for me.
Did you pick up Luke
Did you pick him
Wilson?
up in the boys league? Because I had to start Eric Ebron now.
Darren Fells?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I think probably
Andre.
the Messiah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, one league I had Disley. He was crushing it for me. He got hurt. I drafted O.J. Howard. He's been fucking me all year, but he's on a bye, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't play him. Then I have Chris Herndon as well, but then he's hurt. He's now, so I have no tight end. So I had to go pick someone up, scramble in the waiver wire. Fells was there.
Scramble like eggs.
I'm just gonna throw him in there, see what happens. But the matchup is good, and he has been productive the last couple games. So, it's
I
a
like
good
it.
recipe for success there.
Yeah.
Texans defense.
No.
I think I'm fading them in this one. Jumping the Colts side of the ball here. What about the brisket?
I like the brisket this week.
Yeah, I like the brisket this week too.
I think he was one of I know he has a similar stat to the Minshew one you brought up, like where he's like one of few quarterbacks who have like a certain amount of points a game. He's been relatively safe. Like he's thrown like 2 touchdowns a game, I think, on average. This is a game where I think he actually has to throw a little bit more than he has over the past few games. The Texans, they have a good offense. They've been scoring a ton of points. This is a little bit higher over-under. I don't think they'll be able to do what they did to the Colts, where they just run it 40 times and control the clock. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson's going to score his points, which is going to lead to him throwing a little more. So
Yeah. Just some stats on Jacoby Brissett here. But he's top 12 quarterback in terms of fantasy points and points per drop back. They're coming off a bye. And then even like another stat or just something that makes me feel confident in Jacoby Brissett this week is I think you actually posted it on the IG, Mike, but it was T.Y. Hilton's stats, against everyone's teams
Texans.
and then against the Texans, and he kind of just owns the Texans. So, if I think, T.Y. can go out there, put up 150 and a touchdown or two in this game, obviously who's throwing the ball? Jacoby Brissett. So I do like Jacoby Brissett in this game. Like you said, he'd be a guy if I have Rodgers or Jacoby Brissett, I'm playing Jacoby Brissett. Yeah. So
yeah. I like I said, I had
Brissett or Kirk Cousins.
Brissett.
Ask another one.
Brissett or I don't know, dude.
Brissett or Minshew?
Rodgers. Wait, did we already? We just did that.
Brissett, just because I feel like if the Jags get up big, maybe they don't have to throw the ball as much.
Same thought process.
Teddy Britt. Oh no, just kidding.
Brissett.
This is desperate times call for desperate measures. Like I said, I had a Will Dissly. I lost him. R.I.P. Will Dissly. I have O.J. Howard. He's on a bye, so I had a stream. I'm streaming Eric Ebron this week.
How about what about Luke?
Is he? I was
Luke
reading
Wilson?
something that he was on the injury report. Is he going to play? Because if he doesn't play, then Doyle becomes an interesting option if he's the de facto only tight end.
But let me see what I can see. Yeah, I just I kind of alluded to what we like with it. It's like he has touchdown upside. He doesn't have these huge yardage upside, but I'm at a point where it's like, okay, what touchdown? Who can fall in the end zone?
Yeah,
it's like Eric Ebron
can always fall in the end zone.
He could do it like 3 times,
even when he's on the injury report.
Yeah, so I'm not reading anything, but I'll double check that too. So I mean, if you're in my situation, double check to make sure.
For sure. T.Y. Hilton, you're dialing him up. Marlon Mack, you're dialing him up. I think he's leading the league in carries, or he's got to be at least top 3, top 5 in carries. And
I don't think he's at a game below.
We always preach volume. So down those guys up. Colts defense.
I know the Texans give up a lot of sacks, but they've been better the last 2 weeks. I don't think he's been sacked for almost 2 weeks straight.
Yeah. All right, next matchup, we got the Cardinals.
Oh, it says Eric Ebron has been illness, didn't practice.
Oh, okay.
Thursday he didn't practice.
So
he was full participation on Friday though.
Unless he made out with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
So.
What was your impersonation of Sam Darnold earlier in the week?
I was talking about.
You're crying. You're laughing so hard
because I knew what I was saying was so dumb. So as soon as I started saying it, I was like, okay, hey. I internally said to myself, don't say stupid shit like that again.
Do you say that to yourself often?
Constantly. Every day.
I do too.
All day.
All right, next matchup, Cardinals playing the Giants. Giants -3, 51-point over-under. This is another high over-under. This is second highest over-under. Cardinals side of the ball. I think Kyler Murray's getting to the point of where it's like a set it and forget it.
Yeah.
With the amount of times they're throwing the ball and how he's actually being pretty efficient. And I saw a stat where they're showing on a game-to-game, a game-per-game basis, he's just getting better. Yeah, he is getting better as the season goes on. So
I've been trying to trade for him while he still hasn't he's had a couple good weeks, but he hasn't exploded. So I've been trying to still buy him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drafted him in a league, and I forgot to draft a second quarterback, and it's been working out.
Nice. I did. So you're starting Kyler Murray, David Johnson. I know you said he popped up on.
Yeah, he popped up with his ankle hurts. He was fitting the squad with the Giants, but now his ankle hurts. He's a game time decision. Actually, I was reading today, so
really pay attention to that.
I'm kind of fucking pissed because I'm in a pinch, so I had to drop Chase Edmonds.
Oh no!
And I'm I wouldn't start him over Chris Carson, Fournette, and Elliott, but it's nice to have him in case he's out multiple weeks, and then I can string him to the David Johnson owner. So it's kind of
I almost dropped him in a couple leagues,
but I had to
make
that. Honestly, I was like, it sounds stupid. But I don't want to drop the Panthers kicker, so I was like, I'm dropping Edmonds.
That's happened to me too. He's the number one kicker.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want to. He's like,
I hate kickers, but he's the number one kicker, so I have to hold on to him.
It was like him or Edmonds, and I'm like, Edmonds.
Oh, you're crazy, dude. I would have dropped that kicker in a second. I'll drop the Patriots D right now. I don't give a fuck.
You won't.
You won't.
I don't have them. If I did, I wouldn't.
I'm hitting the fake drop. Yeah, Kyler Murray. I mean, if David Johnson's out for some reason, Chase Edmonds is a top 15 player.
Yeah. If you David Johnson, hopefully, if you have David Johnson, you have Chase Edmonds.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think David Johnson, if he's out there, you still have to start in the matchup as a plus. He's still going to get that 60-40 probably split. I just think his upside. I liked him going into this matchup because I thought coming with a healthy week, he gets more in the 70% snap range. Good matchup, high touchdown upside. But with that ankle injury on a game time call, kind of really fading a little bit more than I had him.
Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna just say this for people, and I've done this before. Is I set an alarm at like 9:50. Well, we're on the West Coast, so it's 9:55 a.m. Just because it's kind of early for us. I set an alarm just to and I'll type in, like these game time things. Like I'll type in on the settings on my alarm, like David Johnson, check, just to check for injury report, or just follow us on Instagram and you'll know.
Yeah. 100.
You know what I'm saying?
200.
But really though, because I fucked that up a bunch of times, like game time decisions.
Yeah, I've seen that happen, especially those London games. So we have no London games this week.
Yeah.
So we can move on to the receivers over here. Christian Kirk, he's another game time decision.
Another game time decision.
I don't feel comfortable with like Keyshawn Johnson, any of those other guys. It's basically Fitz in a good matchup, and then I don't hate Kirk if he's out there. I think
Fitz has been so consistent that I forget that I have him on one of my teams because I just haven't moved him the entire season.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Kirk's a good wide receiver 3 if he's out there. It does scare me a little bit that he's a game time decision, but I think if they're playing him, he's healthy enough to start.
Yeah, I remember seeing something saying like, if the coach wants to monitor him, and if he's not 100% ready to go, they're not going to rush it. They'll wait another week until the ankle's good. So, like I said, I think his ankle hurts. But yeah, I think it's Larry Fitz, and then that's it. If Kirk's not out there.
Yeah, tight end, they don't.
Yeah. And then defense, they have no defense. They are getting Patrick Peterson back, so it'll be interesting to see. How they use him. Do they shadow one of the receivers?
Do they shadow Ingram?
Possibly. Do they shadow Tate when he goes to the slot? I'm not sure if Peterson does that or not, but
he kind of is one of the true few shadow corners.
That's it.
But they do only kind of do that. I've noticed when it's like matchups where it's like an elite guy, where it's like, okay, like if we're facing Julio, we got to move him against him nonstop. They kind of sometimes and it's been a while since this could change with the new coaching scheme. I don't know because it's a new coaching coordinators over there. But I know he would kind of stay on his side for the most part. But if it was like, okay, we need you to go against
AB or something.
Yeah, then it would change.
Yeah. Giants side of the ball, Danny Dimes slinging that dick.
He's slinging that dick this week.
Yeah, Danny. They say that he's number one horniest quarterback in the league right now.
Do you get points for that?
Do you get points for boners?
Well, I mean, he's putting points on the board.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, because he's fucking horny, dude.
Danny Dimes, good streaming option this week. Cardinals D, like I said, it's basically, would you start Danny Dimes against Miami's defense? Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
So it's like the same concept. He's getting Ingram back, huge boost because the Cardinals can't stop a tight end to save their life. They're basically giving up a full touchdown more than any other team. Like the second best, like closest team to them is giving up a touchdown less than the Cardinals are.
Yeah.
I mean, Evan Ingram could be he could be the wide receiver 1 as a tight end this week. There's that upside in this matchup.
Yeah, for sure. Evan Ingram he's poised to have a monster. He could have a historic game.
Yeah.
That's
Danny
hot.
Dimes
That's so hot.
Ball.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest news here is probably Saquon Barkley is supposed to be returning from the high ankle sprain. So his ankle did hurt, but he's back.
He's back. His ankle.
What did he miss, 2 weeks?
I think it was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But he was projected to miss 4 to 8 weeks. A lot of people were saying 6 to 8 weeks. So it's just crazy that guy's.
If you bought him, congratulations.
Yeah.
Like if you're a team that 0-5 and needed to sell him to get wins, and you were like 5-0 and you bought him, like, or maybe not 5-0 because it's only 3, but whatever.
Dude, I've seen that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Saquon Barkley's back. If he's playing for them, he's in my lineup.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, timeout before I forget this, real quick. So I was just thinking this is like kind of outside. So I'm like, this is like a thing that comes to trades. Like if you make a trade offer and you have someone always pull your trade offers before the week starts. Because it's
Yeah.
like it can go both ways. Because it's like, let's say you were making a trade with Mahomes, and you offered Mahomes in that deal. Like I've heard of things where people will be sneaky and know that Mahomes got hurt, so they'll accept the trade. So like if you have a trade that rolling into the weekend, like pull that offer off the table in case like you have a player that gets hurt, because someone could be sneaky and go accept that trade, and then you just lose a player and lose a trade. So
Yeah.
just kind of a. I was thinking about that this week in the car because
No,
I'm sure
yeah.
that definitely happened 100% in some leagues.
Like if I trade you a receiver and then that receiver gets hurt, I'll accept it or you'll accept it because I'm like, oh, well, he got hurt. Like I need to accept it.
Yeah, like let's just say, so like I traded Sony for John Brown. Let's just say that the guy didn't accept it, and John Brown gets hurt this week, and he's like, oh, he didn't do it. You know, I basically get a fucking IR John Brown, and he gets a full Sony Michelle. So it's like when you go into these games, make sure you pull these off the table to kind of protect yourself.
That's a next level star.
It's like a next gen stat.
That's some next gen fantasy stats, bro.
I like it.
But sorry, back to where
Send
I just want to say it before I forgot it.
No fly. Like Dominic, send it down. You ready?
We pardon for this intermission.
Fucking send it in.
I got it. I did it.
I'm
I
sorry
did
to
it,
cut us
guys.
off. I derailed this kind of a little bit.
Where
were we on the
what about
Giants
the
side?
receivers here? So I think Golden Tate, I think you're dialing him up. But is there like a sneaky play? What's the Slayton? What's his name? Darius Slayton?
I mean, if Danny's got that dick, someone's slaying.
I mean, is he a sneaky start
Yes.
to throw in there, or are you worried that Patrick Peterson will shadow him? I mean, I don't think he's earned that right. As disrespectful as that sounds, you know, you're not a NFL player, but I don't think he's earned that right to be like Patrick
Know your
Peterson to be
role,
like,
bitch.
I'm gonna shadow you, like you're just some guy, you know.
I think
He is a guy though.
I think you're rolling the dice a little bit. If Patrick Peterson goes on Tate or Ingram and kind of they're like, hey, if we're going to lose to Slayton, then it's like he could have a pretty decent game. But if it's like he kind of stays on the outside and Slayton's seeing a lot of him, you could see a below average game. So he's kind of he's like the Packers receivers we talked about, where it's like, hey, cool, you could have that upside because Peterson's taking someone else away and this is a shootout game and whatnot. But you could also have that 2 for 20 type of game in the cards. So.
Yeah, there's a league where I'm struggling. I have, my whole bench. Literally, if you go to my bench, it's buy, hurt, buy, hurt, buy.
It's in
like
sync.
it's in sync, or it's out of sync.
Is that a thing?
But he's a guy where I'm thinking about picking up and maybe just swinging for the fence to see if I can get that home run. Because one thing I can say about this is that they do have that kind of connection, Slayton and Danny Dimes. Because they're both, the backups, second team offense. So, you get that training camp, you get the, preseason games, you're playing together. So the connection and the rapport between the two is there. So I think, it's sneaky play, I think, possibly.
Sneaky.
Sneaky.
Giants defense, not so
No,
much.
definitely not.
Sorry.
I was going to say, not with a 50-point over-under. I'm not starting any defenses in those games.
Nah. 49ers side of the ball. Jimmy G, probably not my favorite play this week. But would it surprise me if he threw for 3 touchdowns in this game because it is the Redskins? No, it wouldn't. But they're just running at such a high rate. It's hard to predict that it's a high yardage game. It's like he's going to need to throw the 3 touchdown game to kind of be good this week in a sense.
Yeah, Jimmy G's turned into a game manager is what he is. Realistically, he's a pretty decent quarterback. They're not expecting him to go out there and throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns every single week. They're just saying, Jimmy G, just don't go fuck it up. Just, run the offense, hand the ball off. We have a solid defense now, so
We got McChicken.
I just
Mike
think
back
the
in
upside and the ceiling is always capped for him week in and week out.
Yeah.
Unless they're in a shootout, but it's with that defense now, there's not going to be too many shootouts.
Yeah, start Tevin Coleman, start Matt Breida. You can start both those guys this week. Both good plays. George Kittle, you're starting him, and then receivers, pull the trigger.
One thing I say is Deebo Samuel's out. So Deebo Samuel's out. Does that open the door for maybe a Marquise Goodwin, maybe a Dante Pettis? Remember, I'm looking for a sneaky start here, so I'm the wheels are turning. And one of my leagues, I'm struggling.
I mean, just on average, just the receivers in that team are averaging about 12, 16, 16, 12. They're about 14 targets per game. So that's split up.
yeah.
So the target upside, I don't think you're going to see a dominant. So in a sense, if they're averaging 14, a dominant game from a receiver would be 8, 9 targets. and that's seeing the other wide receiver 2, 3. What's he like?
So pull the trigger.
Yeah, pull it.
You just have to look. You just have to look at the running backs for the Niners and see how productive each. Like all of them are pretty productive.
Yeah.
They're not. You could almost play every single one of them. So if that's the case with like 4 different running backs of a team, playing any of those wide receivers scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah, because you had Matt Breida, you got Tevin Coleman, Mostert. There was that one guy who got hurt. What's his name?
I forget it. It's not that important.
Is
Well,
that-
maybe
is-
we'll think of it later.
Fuck him up, Eric! Fuck you, Cap. Fuck you, Cap. Fuck you, Cap.
Stupid.
Fuck you, Cap.
Okay, I'm done.
But yeah, all
Fuck you,
right.
Cap.
Okay, one more.
Fuck you, Cap.
Okay, yeah, no, but we're done.
Fuck you, Cap.
Okay, here it is.
Family
Fuck you,
Guy.
Cap.
It's South Park.
No, no, but you did like the Family Guy where they just keep going with it.
Yeah, no, we're done.
Fuck you, Cap.
Redskins side of the ball. I mean, anything else?
I mean, Niners defense.
Niners D, yeah.
Jude
I
John,
think that was a
yeah,
no-brainer.
for
Sorry.
sure.
I think it's number 1 D.
I picked Niners in both of my survivor
I mean,
leagues.
Redskins side of the Redskins side of the ball. I mean, Case Keenum, no.
No. AP, no.
I mean, here's the thing with AP though. He had the monster game last week. You know, they get the new coach. They're saying, "Hey, we want to establish a run. We want to run the ball. 50 times a game. I don't care if we're running for 2 yards per carry. We just want to run the ball."
So
He did have a good game, but it was a perfect formula
Yeah.
for AP. Like, get the ball 20-something times against the worst
the only-
defense, the Dolphins. He had a good game. I don't think he found the end zone, but I think he had over 100.
I think he did once.
No, he did not.
No, McLaurin.
Yeah, McLaurin scored touchdown. So, but he had over 110 yards. I know that.
I would have traded him if I had him. That would have been like the perfect week.
Yeah.
What do you have? 5 receptions?
But what is it now? Because it's like now maybe people think like, oh, AP, I got a good running back here. But now he's going against the Niners defense, who is top 5 in yards per game, yards per carry.
I'm not playing
They've only
AP.
given up 1 rushing touchdown all year.
So take what's 2.5 times 20? 4.5?
Times 20.
Yeah, 20 carries, 2.5 yards per carry.
Not good.
Not good. It's not good. Yeah, it's just not. I'm bet. The names we've talked about where we've kind of been. I'd start Duke Johnson over him.
That one would be kind of close, just because I think AP offers more rushing upside if he can fall in the end zone. But they're both pretty gross. I threw up again in my mouth. Also, the thing with AP is he offers no receiving upside. So in a game where the 49ers are -10, they should be out in advance, dominating the game. No receiving upside here.
I just pinched my leg. Sorry, that was a weird noise. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I thought you were doing the impression of this girl.
My fingers hurt.
That's what I thought.
There
were
you go,
doing.
Mike. About time you get something right.
Dude, I get everything right.
Yeah.
That's what every time I took a test in school, they would be like, dude, why do you get everything right all the time? And I was just like, dude, I don't know. I'm just born like that.
If you're starting AP this week, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah,
put it that way.
I'd be nervous. is what I'm saying.
Fade.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid of last week, because I think this is a pretty ugly matchup here. With that being said, you had a guy like Chris Thompson, who is the receiving guy, but he's injured, he's out. And like we just said, AP is not the receiving guy. No receiving upside really for him. What about a guy like Wendell Smallwood, who's going to take over that Chris Thompson pass catching role in a game where they should be behind? Do you think he's kind of a sneaky? I'm telling you, dude, I'm trying to find these sneaky starts, dude. And I actually picked him up, and it was either in one of my spots. I'm thinking Duke Johnson or Wendell Smallwood, just because it's full point PPR, and I'm going to go with Wendell Smallwood. As gross as that sounds,
Let me know how that turns out for you. I don't think it could turn out good.
I don't know. We'll
I
see.
mean, it could.
Tyler's
honestly.
over here.
It could be a
Fucking
Chris Thompson.
send it in.
It could be a Chris Thompson light. It's hard for me to trust without knowing.
Yeah, there's nobody on the waiver wire. It's pretty bad.
But no, this is going to be a game where they only threw to the running back 5 times last week, but that was a game where they were up the whole time, except for that last drive where we went for 2 and dropped it on purpose.
Yeah.
They're still up because they won.
Yeah.
So they were never trailing, basically. But yeah, I mean, in a game where they should be trailing, I wouldn't surprise me if you saw 5 to 8 targets this week. I mean, there's really not a tight end in there. Jeremy Sprinkle, who's he's barely sprinkled out there for any points.
Yeah.
I mean, you have McLaurin. I was trying to come up with something. The receivers out there aren't going to do too much damage outside of McLaurin. So it's like, I wouldn't surprise me to see 5-8 targets from him. Maybe you get 5 for 40 PPR format. You get 9 points.
I'll be happy with it.
Yeah.
Send it. No flub.
I think McLaurin. I mean, you're still starting McLaurin, but I think this is a week where you have to bump his upside a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 7 targets in every game still. Maybe he's not like that, primetime matchup we saw last week against Miami, but it's, he showed up still against I know I didn't start him when he played the Bears, and he still went out there for like 6 for 16, a touchdown. I think you could easily see that with the target volume alone with him, where it's maybe he doesn't get in the end zone, but he's still probably a 5 for 50 type of guy this week, or a 5 for 65. Wide receiver 2, 3, and he just has that touchdown upside. And his PFF rating I think is like second highest in the NFL right now. So basically, they're saying he's playing still as a receiver at a pretty much elite level. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough matchup, but you're not sitting him.
Yeah.
You're going to be pissed. You'd be more mad that you started him and he got you like 4 points compared to if you benched him and he got you like 25 points.
Yeah.
So, set him. Forget it.
Redskins defense?
Nah.
They're just getting
Nothing.
nothing.
All right, next one, you got the Chargers
Chargers.
playing the Titans. Titans are minus 2.5. Over 41 point over under.
There is a Titan who holds a lightning bolt?
Ooh,
Zeus.
Kelsey.
He's like, Kelsey. That's true. That's a valid point. That's why you don't record at 12:30, kids.
Yeah.
Chargers side, Phillip Rivers. Man,
Nah, I don't like it.
I don't like it this week. He's probably. I'm starting the Brissett, the Minshew.
We talked about how we didn't like Rodgers, but I think we agree. We start Rodgers over.
Yeah, I start Rodgers over Rivers. Rivers is probably one of my lower options.
Titans defense is sneaky good, solid front seven. I know the Chargers offensive line is battling some injuries. I think Russell Okung, I think, is the left tackle. I could be wrong on that one, but I think he's still out. And then Pouncey, the center, I think he's out as well. So those are two pretty much Pro Bowl caliber type of players.
I think Pouncey's out for the year.
Is he?
Maybe.
Oh, that's even worse then. But yeah, the Titans front seven's really good. I mean, they got some good cornerbacks too. Logan Ryan, Malcolm Butler, Adoree Jackson, guys like them. I think Logan Ryan's on the team still. I could be wrong, actually. But yeah, solid team. Titans are at home, so I'm pretty nervous for Phillip Rivers in this one. I don't think the upside is massive. Maybe, like you said, maybe like 250 and 2. That's kind
like
of
a
Rivers game, yeah.
Yeah.
But the ceiling is not there for him.
Yeah.
What about the running back situation here? Because it's Eckler and Gordon. Gordon just hasn't looked good at all.
Can he just go back to retirement, but semi-retirement?
Yeah.
Because it's just hurting both these guys. The line's not like playing that well right now. I feel like Eckler still looked better this year, but it's like they almost it's like they have to give Melvin Gordon the workload, even though Eckler still kind of looked better.
I'm in a situation where I have both, and it's I'm playing Gordon right now, but just because it seems like they want to give him everything, but then at the same time it's just I don't know.
It's kind
hard.
of like I made that trade with Sony and John Brown, and the guy was like, "I'm going to start Sony over Eckler this week," and I was like, I don't blame you. It's like it's kind of just ugly in the backfield right now with the lack of commitment to one or two of the running backs. Gordon's a second week maybe he sees a few more snaps, but it just didn't look that good last week. It was like 3-point-something yards per carry as a whole. I don't know, the offense just doesn't look that great.
I mean the Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean Steelers defense is good. They dominated that whole game.
I hate to say it coming from me.
Nah, but the Steelers defense looked good. They dominated that whole game.
I don't want to say it, but
I'd say this though. I'd say you're still playing Eckler. I think he's still like an RB2. I mean, and the thing with Eckler is
I think he's more RB3.
We've seen Eckler get it done though the whole year, and it's not that he hasn't been able to get it done. It's just now his workload's kind of being compromised a little bit more, with Gordon compared to Justin Jackson in the backfield with him. But I think Eckler's still there. He's still receiving upside. He doesn't get game scripted out. But like with Melvin Gordon, we just haven't seen it. Like it's just, is he rusty? But then you've also touched on this, Anthony, in the past. He's never really been efficient until last year. I think he's averaged under 4 yards per carry for his whole career.
He just was getting a lot.
Yeah. He actually kind of had a breakout year with the amount of volume he was getting and the plays he was getting, touchdown upside. But rookie year, 0 touchdowns with all the carries he had. The yards per carry was bad. Second year, he had some touchdowns, but the yards per carry was still really bad. So, I mean, maybe there's a reason why the Chargers didn't want to pay him X amount of dollars because they're thinking you're really not that good, bro. Take what we're gonna give you. If not, leave it.
We're giving you more.
They told him to leave it. Yeah. So maybe that's just what it is. I think Eckler still holds his value because, like I said, I think we've seen it. And I think I would like to think, we always say it, we always like to think these coaches will understand, but the coaches have seen Eckler get it done through the air, on the ground, and if they want to, move the ball, get this offense rolling, you can't sit here and just try to force feed some guy who's getting 3 yards a play on a catch and a run. Gordon, you got to get these other guys incorporated.
I mean, I'm on your side of the thought process, but like one thing I've kind of learned too is like the fucking coach. They just don't. You can't expect.
So fucking stupid.
Why are these coaches so fucking stupid? I thought you played it. I kind of
Everyone's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it really is like.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, you do see some play calling. Even me, I don't even know shit about play calling and stuff like that. And sometimes I see them do some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you guys doing out there, huh?
You see, like fucking Matt Nagy just do something retarded. Why is he so fucking stupid? Yeah. I've tried to learn to like be careful with the thought of rational coaching, where it's like, yeah, like you're everything you said is right. Like yeah, Eckler's looked good. You're gonna fucking plot him in there for 3 yards of carry, but it's like,
it makes sense for like Bill Belichick.
It's.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Bill Belichick will.
And it's like the one thing that's kind of worrying me about the situation is, he 28 snaps last week. His last 5 carries last week. So it's like, is he going to see another 5 carries again this week? Because it's like, and he had 4 targets last week. If he sees that kind of workload again, it could be another ugly game for Eckler. But like I said, I'm on your side with I think he's just a better running back right now, more efficient. The coach should, in theory, give him a little bit more work, but there is a real possibility where he doesn't, just because they're tied to Melvin Gordon for what he did last year, and maybe they think it's a rust game or whatever, and they're kind of brushing it off. So there's some downside still with Eckler. So that's just something to kind of weigh in there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Melvin Gordon, Eckler, or Sony. You have all 3.
PPR.
Half point.
I mean. Maybe I'm biased because I have Eckler, so I've been paying attention to him a little bit more than
you play Eckler.
Guys, I think I'd probably go Eckler. I just don't. I think Gordon's. I don't know. We've just seen it with Gordon. Like he's just not getting it done in the past. He hasn't get it done. And then Sony's kind of one of those guys. If he doesn't fall in the end zone, like he's not going to get you the receiving upside. I think Burkhead comes back this week, and then if he doesn't fall in the end zone, it's not.
Just
there.
curious.
I'm more on the. I agree with you. I'm gonna play it more on the safe side. I'd probably go Sony because I know he's gonna. It's just like what I saw from these guys last week. It's like I could be completely wrong on this, but I said I would probably just play the safe side, and then there's still the touchdown upside with Sony that he gets into the end zone. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't think any are necessarily the greatest options, but I'm gonna kind of steer on the safe side of it. It's just like like I said, I'm with you as far as the logic goes. I just think that sometimes these coaches are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's like there's a pretty decent possibility that Gordon goes up to maybe even 65% of the snaps, and like Eckler might only see 3-4 carries and 3-4 targets, which to me doesn't make no sense. Like it really doesn't. Like you said, you watch the eye test, he looks better. You see all this field. It's like you're a coach trying to fucking win. It's like why not give this guy some more work? But that's. I don't know. Sometimes these coaches just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I think that's a possibility.
So are you benching Melvin Gordon then, or are you playing? Because I feel like if you had him this whole time, you've been playing him since he's come back, and I mean he hasn't really done anything. Are you trying to trade him? Maybe maybe someone thinks like, oh, I'll buy him on the low right now because he's Melvin Gordon. Would you be trying to trade him for something? Are you throwing him in your line? Are you benching? I mean, what's your move right now? If you have Melvin Gordon?
I think you can get away from him. I could. I mean. I'm trying to think of like some. Fuck. It's weird. It's weird that we're talking about Melvin Gordon in this aspect, but it's like you got to kind of be like realistic with yourself.
I
like,
mean, there's battling O-line injuries for the Chargers, and then they said on the road game, they're traveling across country to play the Titans. Tough front seven.
Yeah, like I would start both.
I'm starting to like the Titans -2.5 right here.
I would start both the 49er guys over him, for sure.
Yeah. I think he'd be outside of my top of my head, like top 30.
Yeah,
almost.
I was gonna say the same thing. He'd be outside my top
20, at least top 25. It'd be tough.
Yeah, I'm starting guys like Carry On. I mean,
Drake or Melvin Gordon.
I think I go Melvin. What the hell was that?
Nothing.
I think I'm going Drake. If Melvin, it's here's the thing. I think Melvin Gordon would outscore him if he falls in the end zone. But if he doesn't, I think Drake PPR wise and just total yards wise, gets more points than him.
Drake?
That's crazy to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that guy.
Drake.
I think I like the Titans 2.5 too this week. The more I'm thinking about it.
I think that's the average bros lock of the week.
We just spent 10 minutes on ugly thoughts of Melvin Gordon in the Chargers backfield
yeah,
right
I
now.
know, right? All right, so the receivers, we didn't even touch on these guys. Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen started. I know he's had a couple
yeah,
down weeks, but he's
you
still.
have to just throw him in there.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Williams is kind of. I know, like we were just basically down, but he's been actually somewhat consistent in
Yeah.
the PPR format the last like 3-4 weeks, I think almost.
Yeah, he's been getting like 4 catches ish for like 70 yards ish. You know, just still hasn't found the end zone.
Yeah, I feel like
which
he's
is
due
crazy
to find the
for
end zone.
for how many touchdowns he had last year. So, yeah, I'm not against.
Wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I'm not against
Wide
flex
receiver
guy.
three, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not against it.
I'd rather start him over those guys where we're bringing up like the Packers guys or
Yeah.
Auden Tate. Like for sure, you start Mike Williams over those type of guys.
Yeah.
Any of the 49ers. I mean, I think if I'm in a situation where Christian Kirk or Mike Williams, I'd probably go Mike Williams because it's like I know he's going to see some targets. He's going to be on the field healthy. That might be a decision where someone has to make.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Chargers defense.
I mean, Hunter Henry after that game.
Oh, yeah,
you're
start
starting
Hunter
him. Chargers defense, no, I wouldn't be doing that.
Onto the Ryan Tannehill-led Titans.
The Ryan
We said it.
Tannehill intended. Yeah,
He's
we
going to
said
come up
it.
eventually.
The Tannehill. It's Tannehill time in Tennessee.
This is the most excited we've been in the last 4 matches.
Tighten up.
Tighten up. Tighten up.
So I'm just interesting to see like how how good Tannehill does. And one thing I've noticed with this, I know it's preseason too, that when I was kind of paying attention to, but he was super efficient. Like his completion percentage was crazy. He'd be like 16 for 18, like 12 for 15. Like it was his completion percentage was through the roof. And even last week when he came in, I think he was like 16 for 18 or 14 for 18, something crazy like that. So crazy high completion percentage. With that being said, I just kind of want to see how he. In a one full, actual real game, he gets done. We're Dolphin fans, me and Anthony here, so we've kind of seen what Tannehill can do. But Miami's offensive line was terrible, and Tennessee's offensive line obviously way better. So it'd be just like I said, interesting to see what happens. I think Derrick Henry, you're starting him. He's got probably the highest probability of falling in the end zone out of anyone.
He's the king of 1-yard touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'm actually no longer a Dolphins fan for this year. I'm a Texans on the AFC and Seahawks on the NFC. Those are my teams this year.
Oh, nice.
That's tight.
I bandwagon for 1 year.
But it's the receivers here. I want to see who he leans on. Is it going to be Corey Davis, former 5th overall pick? A.J. Brown's a first-round pick. They go out, they sign Adam Humphries, to a 4-year deal, paying him some good money. And even Delaney Walker's there, pretty good tight end. I'm curious to see who he leans on. This game might be kind of skewed on who he leans on because you got Casey Hayward. He's going to shadow Corey Davis, so Casey Hayward's one of the best, if not the best corner in the league. So he should actually blanket Corey Davis and shut him out. And then you got Desmond King in the slot, who's actually also one of the best corners in the league. He should, I would think, blanket Humphries.
So Corey Davis and Humphries would be warm.
Yeah.
It'd
And
be
then
cold.
what about A.J. Brown then? Does that leave A.J. Brown to be kind of like that guy who's on the island by himself? I mean, we've kind of seen him have a couple big plays, here when he's in the open field, he's pretty tough to bring down.
Yeah.
Remember,
He has that
trying to find the sneaky start here, dude. All right, you got to label this episode "sneaky start."
Okay.
I feel like he has big. Is it me or he has big ass shoulder pads?
He's a big dude.
He's
sure.
big too, but his shoulder pads kind of remind me how Sam Bradford's shoulder pads look hella too big for him. I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
tripping.
that's because Sam Bradford didn't tuck his jersey into his
Well,
thing.
he also had those. He always wore the old school thermal long sleeves
was-
that worn
dude,
into
I was
the
showing my-
90s.
I was showing my girlfriend the some old videos of old football, some old football players or what I can't remember. Oh, I think it was an old Steelers game. She's like, God, they were so big, and I was like, no, the shoulder pads. It was a 70s
Yeah.
Steelers thing, and she just didn't understand. No, the shoulder pads were just fucking huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is a big dude. And someone was like, yeah, I didn't realize he was that big. Maybe it's because he was standing next to fucking DK Metcalf, who's
true.
a fucking monster. And then he
giant.
makes him, who's a big dude, just look like above average dude.
Yeah, he's a really big dude. But like I said, with that being said, do you think maybe
You guys
he's
sound like you're
sneaky
getting
start
fucking
or?
horny
I mean,
over there.
as we were speaking, I forgot to pick him up earlier, so I picked him up in the boys' league. I think, Ryan Tannehill's the wild card. We have a new quarterback starting. The Lions a pretty good offensive line. Like I said, he was efficient. I just like that he's got that unknown to it, where it's he could not. I don't want to say break out because it's still not Tannehill's not going to throw for 300 yards. Be a top 5 quarterback, but I mean, could he be a useful piece down the stretch where it's he's third yards after the catch in the whole league. So he's got that yak to him where it's like he'll make plays. We've seen some explosiveness out of him. Like you said, pointed out this game, got Hayward against Corey Davis, and then you got Humphreys against
Desmond
King. And I think Corey Davis is a good receiver. I don't think he's a true one at this point. I think from 2 years of what I've seen of him is he's more of like a wide receiver. A solid wide receiver, 2 for a team.
Yeah.
But could A.J. Brown be that one to where Corey Davis used to get, 20-something%? We talked about it a lot last year, 20-something% of the target share and all this stuff. Like, what could A.J. Brown do if he's seeing about 21, 22% of the target share? Could he be a top 24 receiver? And it's just kind of having that unknown factor. I just was like, I'm going to drop someone and pick him up and just see what happens this week, with Ryan Tannehill out there being a little bit more efficient. So, I don't mind it this week. I think there's the unknown factor of, he could kind of blow up this week and you kind of get him. Or even if you're listening to this, maybe go and get him and do what I did. It's like take a chance on getting him before maybe he's the biggest waiver wire pickup next week.
Yeah. What about maybe just this is kind of a random thought, but for Adam Humphreys, I know it's a tough matchup this week. Desmond King, like we just said, is one of the best corners, one of the best slot cover corners in the league. But we did see when Tannehill was in Miami, those were the Landry years where he was getting just hyper targeted, crazy amount of target. Could it be the offense and the system that it was in Miami? 100%. But could it also be that Tannehill just feels comfortable throwing the ball to the slot receiver? And Humphreys is the slot receiver there, so maybe a sneaky PPR guy to pick up.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
No, yeah. You could be in that Jamison Crowder type of mold where he's like a PPR type of guy. Cole Beasley, where he's getting target a lot of. He's a consistent. We could have 2 guys with Tannehill, and that's a possibility where you have, A.J. Brown, who's like more of the big play type of guy, and you have Humphreys, who's the safe floor. We could be looking at that situation with Tannehill. So
for sure. Delaney Walker, I think he hasn't really had that much. I was looking at stats. He had 20 points in the first week, 20 plus points, something like that. And then I think if you added up every single week after that, I don't think he's had 20 points combined. So it's been tough for Delaney Walker.
And I think that was he had chemistry with Mariota, which is I don't know if he has any chemistry with Tannehill.
Yeah. So this will be, like I said, this would be interesting to play. Maybe if you have, all right, let's some names here. Like you throw in Jimmy Graham, Delaney Walker, Darren Fells. Who else we got here?
What you think?
Jimmy Graham or Delaney Walker?
Yeah.
T.J. Hawkinson, Delaney Walker.
Walker.
I think I'll go Walker on that one. I don't even know. Gerald Everett, Delaney Walker.
Gerald Everett.
Yeah.
I think I'm going Everett for the upside. Jason Witten, Delaney Walker.
Witten. I don't think Cooper's playing, so Witten.
Interesting. All right, I guess that's where we stand. So it's kind of in that maybe 10, 12, 10 to 14, 15 range.
Yeah.
Tight end.
Maybe, 14.
Watch this game. We say he's not, and then Tannehill comes out and he gets 8 for 70 and 2 touchdowns. All right. Titans defense, I'm not mad at it.
I'm stringing them.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at the Titans defense at all. Like I think we just sold ourselves on Titans -2.
Yeah. So. Lock of the week.
It's because Ryan Tannehill's on the team.
Dude, it's not a homer pick.
I'm just saying.
We're not talking about D. Johnson, bro.
I'll D. your Johnson.
Oh. All right, next matchup. Saints playing Chicago Bears. Bears -4. 37.5 point over-under. This is the lowest over-under of the week. So meaning
the Bears
a lot of
game?
defense and no points being scored. So on the Saints side of the ball.
Who wins, Mike? Saints or Bears?
Saints.
I think so too. I like -4 with the points. I like a money line.
I think the Saints. I think the Saints are gonna win it. Yeah.
2-teamer, Saints and Titans.
Teddy Bridgewater, I don't give a fuck, dude. He runs it. They have a system with
Teddy
him.
Bridgewater. Dude.
I don't love him, but I just think that the team works well with him.
And Mike's been right. Every time we went against him, he's been like, we look dumb. He's like, dude, the Cowboys are gonna fucking beat the Saints, and we were like, nah. And he's like,
bro, everybody says the hardest place. Everybody who's ever played in Seattle says it's the hardest place to play, and the Saints went there and beat them with Teddy Bridgewater. So. Yeah,
granted, they had a defense and a special team.
I understand. But I'm just saying.
It's not like Teddy Bridgewater was.
I'm not saying. Jesus fuck. What I'm saying is, with a backup quarterback, they were still able to fucking win a game. A lot of times you throw a backup quarterback in there, Matt Moore, you think the Chiefs are going to be the same fucking team?
Dude, don't disrespect Matt Moore.
No, You disrespecting me, dude.
I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is the highest paid backup quarterback for a reason. So I think
Exactly.
Hey.
So everybody
it's
thinks
science, dude. That's what I've been trying to tell you this whole time.
And he
my
builds
God,
bridges.
He's good, dude.
He builds bridges.
Bro, he's like 20-4 in his career.
you guys are
right?
sick. You guys are.
Get down with the sickness.
You guys are fucking sick.
Hey,
dude.
I was giving you props.
That was not.
I said I like the Saints
It
this
was
week
not a
too.
flub.
It wasn't a flub. Teddy Bridgewater's real, dude.
All right. With that being said, you starting Teddy Bridgewater or what?
I mean, no, but
Nah, yeah, I'm not
against the
starting
Bears
this
defense,
week.
definitely not.
But I'll tell you who I'm starting, Latavius Murray.
Yeah,
Are you?
Latavius Murray.
Yeah, there's no Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, but are you going to start Latavius Murray against the Bears defense? I'm not.
I trust the system. He's gonna catch the ball too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's gonna get passing.
I
game
like
work.
it. I like having him, and I think there's a possibility, but I don't want to start that. My thinking is that you probably have something better than Latavius Murray.
I've seen some ugly situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
I mean,
about
there's a lot
starting
of-
Wendell fucking Smart.
I was like, I don't.
You're making it
I would-
solid point.
I'd suck a dick to have Latavius
Yeah.
Murray. Right?
Give
You know
me-
why? It's
give me a
because I
bag.
have Kamara and I don't have. I
You know what, dude? You know what's driving me insane is that I had Latavius Murray in like 3 or 4 leagues, and I dropped him in so many because it
I
was
think a
just
lot of
week
people
after.
did.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those things I hate drafting those underdogs early, or like drafting them because then you end up dropping them.
yeah, but the Saints kind of always had 2 running backs that have had value for the most part.
Yeah,
So it was like you can't really like. There's a lot of people like I even like Latavius Murray as like a 7th, 8th, 9th round kind of guy. But I think once you saw the season start, you could drop him. So it was like,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean he's gonna get. I think the Saints win this game too. So that brings up the point of he should see a 15 carry game if you kind of think the Saints are gonna win it. And then just how the Saints run this system, you got to figure he's a good bet for 4 or 5 targets. So I figure a 20 touch back. He can serviceable as catching the ball. Is he the Alvin Kamara? No, but can he catch the ball and get you, 8-10 yards? Can he Leonard Fournette it 6 for 40, 42? Yeah, you could do that. So it's like I like him as a volume play this week.
I mean, yeah, like I said, Super Kamara, he's ruled out. He's got like an ankle and a knee injury, so he's out. I want to say he should be back next week, but I guess just
They're
monitor
gonna
it.
buy next week. No, Am I wrong?
It could be that. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they want to give him the extra rest before they jump into the bye week. But yeah, I agree. If you have Latavius Murray, I'm definitely down him up. Just the volume portion of it. I mean, and don't be surprised. I mean, I know it's the Bears defense in Chicago, and it is a tough matchup. But I mean, Josh Jacobs just kind of shredded this defense.
Yeah.
Granted, I know that was in London, but it's still the same defense.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this is because there's no Bears in London,
No.
right, Mike?
Yeah, there's no Bears in London.
That's why he shut it down. But actually, I heard a stat on
What is a bear?
a bear.
A fucking bear. Never heard of it.
I heard Matthew Berry say that
Aw.
in games where Latavius Murray's had at least 15 touches over the last X amount of games, he's like at least double digit in PPR format. So
Yeah.
basically, when he
that's
gets
stat. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Matthew Berry
Interesting stat. That one.
and bears eat berries,
Yeah, they do.
don't they?
Yeah, they truly do.
They do.
Different type of berry there.
Barry would never walk himself into the woods.
That's berry punny.
Very punny.
Fucking got it, dude.
Barry, 2-teamer.
All right.
You heard it here
Same
first.
side of the ball, Latavius Murray. Michael Thomas, you got to dial him up. Tough matchup,
Yeah.
but you're not sitting Michael Thomas.
But
And
I mean,
then-
if you've seen, like I brought up McLaurin, he had 5 for 60, and I think Michael Thomas, he's the league leader in receiving yards.
yeah, for
He's
sure.
still
Send
safe.
it in.
And then Jared Cook, tight end for the Saints. He's actually ruled out too, so he won't be there. So I think it's pretty much Latavius Murray, Michael Thomas. That's it.
Yeah.
Saints defense, you down them up or the lowest over under of the week?
It wouldn't surprise me if they had a good game.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Is Trubisky in or is it
I think he's
I think
questionable.
Chase Daniel? Right? Chase Daniel?
Yeah, Chase Daniel. I don't know, actually.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I guess we
should
could
probably
start
know
out.
that.
We
We
I'll
run a
look it up
podcast.
while we start on some other stuff. I just haven't researched much on the Bears. Montgomery.
I like it. I'm
I
not mad at
think here's the thing. I've been seeing a lot of things saying bench Montgomery. I think if you have him, unless you have better options, you probably have to roll with him. But you kind of just know what you're getting from him so far from what you've seen. But I'm curious to see coming out of the bye if Nagy and the offensive coordinator or whoever over there, if they're kind of like, all right, this is what we have to do. We have to get him more involved in the passing game. We have to get him more involved like this. Different types of schemes. Like, are they going to try to really incorporate him? I mean, one thing I say about Montgomery is like he's trending in the right direction of his snap percentage and total team percentage of carries. Like, he's pretty much the guy there. Cohen is, the change of pace, receiving guy. But Mike Davis has been kind of phased out completely, and it's pretty much David Montgomery's. They're giving him the chance. So I'm just curious to see coming out of the bye how it will be.
I like buying low on David Montgomery.
Yeah.
While he's.
It's not I'm not really doubting Montgomery's talent because I've probably watched him the closest out of any player this year. It's just the offensive line is not creating anything for him, and he'll hit the hole and he'll make 2 or 3 people miss, but by then everyone else is closing in on him, and he only gets 3 yards, 4 yards, if that.
Right.
So I think the offensive line needs to do a better job, of opening up holes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like comparison to he's pretty much what Jordan Howard was last year. So far, I mean, he's volume. He gets a few catches, not super high catch totals. But like you said, I mean,
very similar, huh?
Does that change after the bye week? There's the possibility too, because he is a better receiver than Jordan Howard is. But as of right now, not very efficient on a yards per carry basis. Actually, worse than Jordan Howard was last year. I think he only has 1 run over 20 yards.
Yeah.
Which is pretty. He's not breaking those big plays, which we kind of expected. With the elusiveness coming in, and I just think he's another year away from. I could be wrong on this. But I think he might be a year away from getting more efficient on the ground. His style is a little bit more patient, a little bit more side to side. And I think he's going to need to grow and realize that. I kind of said Joe Mixon struggled his first year with that because he's a little bit more patient. Le'Veon Bell, even his first year, kind of struggled with that. And I noticed these kind of more patient backs, they tend to have a little bit of a struggle their rookie seasons with. I almost want to say it's adjusting to the game speed and how fast the holes close and stuff like that. And maybe he does it faster, but I think he might have a yards per carry wise struggle the rest of the season. I could be wrong on that, but like I said, I just kind of know this is something I've noticed and paid attention to with more of the patient style runners outside of Barkley, because Barkley's second gear is second to none.
Yeah.
He hits that gear so fast, it's it translated to the NFL I haven't seen. Yeah, it was some of these other guys it doesn't translate as well, but Barkley was
Yeah. What's the status on Trubisky? Because I know
he practiced 3 straight days.
Yeah.
Is that what you saw?
Yeah.
But he's still questionable.
Still questionable.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's his left shoulder. I think.
It's not his throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
So I think he's trending in the direction of he'll play.
Yeah.
I mean, either way.
Either way, I'm not playing him.
Is Mitch Trubisky any different than Chase
I
Daniel?
think it just would affect Allen Robinson, who's probably the only pass catcher you're probably considering over there. But even then, he should see a shadow from Marcus Lattimore. And
I don't think receivers top 50 yards.
Yeah, I think he's playing at an all-pro level this year.
Lattimore's the one who fucked up against Diggs, right, in the playoff game?
No, that was the safety.
All right.
But
that was the safety, yeah.
Yeah, it was the safety. Something with Greg Williams or something like that. Some Williams.
I'd probably be fading Robinson this week. I mean, if Lattimore's shutting down Julio, if he's shutting down Mike Evans, if he shuts down...
Mike Evans, that was the goose egg game Mike Evans had.
Goose? I mean, he's more talented than these guys. Actually, speaking of Allen Robinson, I'm kind of annoyed because...
He's less talented than those guys.
Yeah, did I say more?
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely not more talented.
No.
But I offered Calvin Ridley for Hunter Henry in a trade, and I got denied. And then I saw a trade go through where it was Allen Robinson, and the guy got Golden Tate and Hunter Henry, and I was like, "The fuck?"
Yeah. He was a
Wait,
Bears.
what'd you say?
Yeah, he was a Bears fan, but still, I was like, I didn't even ask for another receiver. I was like, I'd put Ridley and Robinson around the same area.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you really like Ridley.
I'm just saying, if you on a points per game basis and stuff like that. I mean, I know Robinson sees more steady targets, but really tied to Matt Ryan.
It's just science, dude.
Just science.
Yeah, if you have Robinson, just beware. It's a tough matchup. He's going against one of the best corners in the league, and if Trubisky's back, he hasn't been playing at a high level, and if Trubisky's not there, Chase Daniel's the backup quarterback. So it's an ugly matchup for Allen Robinson. Is all we're trying to say. No tight end there. Trey Burton has just been a huge bust.
Yeah.
And then
He really has been. I was hyped on him.
Yeah. I think he's a bigger bust than O.J. Howard, that's pretty hard to do. But
Well, at least you didn't have to draft him super high. Yeah. Last year, he was still okay last year.
Yeah.
He wasn't performed where you drafted him. I think I was taking him in the 6th round, and I think I got him 6th round 2 leagues.
So Trey Burton.
Yeah. And he performed decent last year, but this year he was probably a 10th round pick, 12th round pick. I don't think he was going very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus O.J. Howard was a 5th.
Yeah, for sure. Bears defense, you're down them up. They're set and forget a defense every week.
They're gonna,
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Next matchup, you got the Ravens. Going to go to Seattle, play the Seahawks. Seahawks are -3.5, 49.5. Over under. Ravens side of the ball. Lamar Jackson, you're down him up. Mark Ingram, down him up. Mark Andrews, down him up. What about Marquise Brown, though? I think he's questionable. I'm not sure he practiced at all this week.
Yeah, I think he's like that. He's questionable, but it seems like more like he's doubtful because if players don't practice by Friday, 90% of the time they don't play.
I think if he's playing, you're playing him because of his target share. He's one of the heaviest targeted players on a per team basis, and we've seen the explosiveness that he offers. I think if he's playing, he's at least a flex guy for you, unless you're just stacked and.
Unless you're like Mike, just fucking stacked.
Yeah,
Bro, I'm stacked,
Eating all those
jacked, and
McChickens,
racked.
lifting.
I'm huge. What'd you call HUGE?
I mean, yeah, I'd flex him if I have him, but the other, he's been. I don't know if I just don't really think he plays this week. I'm trying to think of some receivers off head that we could kind of go over.
Like Marvin Jones or Marquise Brown.
I'd say I go Marquise Brown there. Mike Williams or Marquise.
Mike Williams.
I go Mike Williams too.
How about Tyler Boyd or
I go Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd.
or Auden Tate?
I think I might go out and Tate.
I might go out and Tate still.
Yeah, I go out and Tate there. Let's see. Let's go through some teams. DD Westbrook or Marquise Brown?
DD.
DD.
Agree with DD. Mo Sanu or Marquise Brown?
That one's tough. It's like, do you want trying to go for the safe floor, or are you trying to hit the home run?
Yeah, I'm kind of on your side.
I'm trying to get that grand slam.
Call me Sammy Sosa.
I'm trying to get
I was about
that.
to Barry Bonds, your black ass.
Allen Robinson or Marquise Brown?
I think I go Marquise Brown there. I think the floor is similar, but the ceiling might be higher due to explosiveness.
It's true. It's true.
The way he said due to his ability to fuck shit up, I'll be playing.
But just keep an eye on it, 'cause I think he's questionable.
I don't think I start another Ravens receiver though if he's out. I have a hard time.
I'm assuming it's a 1 o'clock game or an afternoon type game. So if you have him, if I had someone like in the morning games that I knows for sure gonna play, maybe I'm just throwing him in my lineup just to make sure I have someone there, because I don't want to be like stuck with my pants down. Like, oh fuck, he didn't play, and now who am I gonna go?
What's the
get?
situation?
Yeah,
I might be down.
yeah.
Do we get so gay on this podcast?
Oh, that was gay. Just saying my pants are down. Yeah. What's around me?
Hey, you're the one who's thinking about.
Yeah, I did. Where's your mind, dude?
You said if his pants are down. He said, "What's the situation? Your pants are down." That's what you said.
No, it's not
that's
that.
it.
Oh, okay.
Ravens defense?
No, I do kind of like their defense going forward, just because they picked up Marcus Peters, and I think that's going to help their defense a little bit. So,
all right, Seahawks side of the ball. Russell Wilson. I mean, you just don't bench him.
yeah, could be MVP this year.
Yeah, especially when Mahomes hurt for a few games now.
Yeah.
Chris Carson, you're starting him. Tyler Lockett, you're starting him. Will Disley. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Will Disley, because you'd be starting him.
You'd be starting him.
How about are you starting Luke Wilson if you're in the OJ Howard dilemma?
I've thought about, like, do you pick him up as like a speculative ad, like thinking maybe he plays Disley's role and he's
I picked
decent?
him up in like 2 leagues. I picked him up at the FFPC
I was thinking about
league.
this. Yeah, I was thinking about this morning, but you can only pick up on Fridays. It's fucking stupid. Anyways,
It is dumb.
I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, is he someone like add out a speculative? Like maybe he plays that role. Maybe he's not as efficient, but he's maybe someone you can use on a streaming league.
Yeah.
Because of how ugly tight end is.
Like, would you rather play Luke Wilson or Tyler Eifert?
Pull that trigger.
Should pull the trigger.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm in a situation like that where I'm just like,
Put the grenade in my hand and pull the pin.
yeah, dude. So I picked him up. I have him starting, but it's like I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah.
But if it works, it works.
DK Metcalf in this game?
I mean, I do feel like
No.
those targets have to go somewhere. No, that Will Disley was having.
Yeah,
do they just
I
go
think the
to-
running backs get a little bit more
That's what I was
incorporated.
I was curious. Is like, do you think it's just they go?
Because I think Anthony's one who's touched on this. I know the running backs and the tight end targets, they're correlated together. The wide receiver targets stay the same.
Yeah,
right.
and
They're
it's always
separate.
Yeah, so it's always the the running backs and the tight ends. So no Disley. Those targets I think will fall to the running backs. You know, maybe I'm not sure if Rashad Penny's back.
If they don't
but
go,
you know, Chris Carson, those kind of guys getting incorporated.
Yeah.
I'm not starting DK Metcalf. You got, you know, Jimmy Smith. You got, I think Marlon Humphreys on the outside, and you know, if Marcus Peters plays, he's out there. Earl Thomas in the secondary. I don't like this.
I think these corners are good enough to shut him down
for what he brings.
Because they know,
table.
it's not like they're going to get beat on like a double move, or he's not beating him on like a finesse route.
Yeah, it's Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, Tyler Lockett. Send it. No
Seahawks
flub.
D?
I'm not just starting.
Yeah, me either.
I think.
I mean, there's no Marquise Brown. I guess it's in Seattle. No.
49-point over/under.
I think it's an under game. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I think?
Not mad at it.
Is that registered? Yeah, I actually think it's an under game. Yeah, probably not. All right, Eagles, Cowboys.
Sunday Night Football. We got the Eagles. Eagers. Going to the Dallas. Going to play the Cowboys -2.5. 49-point over/under.
The Philadelphia Visors.
The Turbo
McVisor. I think you said that last week. I was dying. Who came up with that? Was that Tyler or you?
Mike.
Mike. You're like fucking Turbo McVisor.
me and this kid I used to live with, we used to do that with everything. Like, you'd say like Turbo Mick and then whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Like Turbo Mick fucking got his hat on too tight. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay. Eagles side of the ball. Carson Wentz, I think he's still playing this week. I mean, he's been like, I feel like he's safe. You know, he's had some tough matches, but he hasn't really even in the tough matches hasn't really like he played Minnesota last week. He still wasn't really disappointing.
Yeah.
Who, Andy Dalton's twin brother?
His better
twin brother.
Yeah.
You know, the Cowboys are going to be without both their corners. This could be it's 49-point over/under. You know, I still like Wentz this week as like a top. Like, would you go with him or Rodgers?
Oh, Wentz.
Wentz, yeah. Murray or Wentz?
Murray.
I think I go Murray too. I'm trying to find some like Wilson or Wentz.
Wilson.
I think I go Wilson too. I mean, it's kind of a start. Like, he's in that top 12 is kind of what I'm saying. Like, you're still starting him. It's, you know, Sunday night game. It's a pretty good good matchup for him too, with the Cowboys lacking the cornerback depth.
Yeah, I think the reason I like Wentz, because I've been reading a lot of things about like, oh, sit Wentz or it's a bad matchup, don't play Wentz. And I guess on paper it could be bad, but one thing I say about this is the Cowboys are going to put up points in this game because the Eagles secondary is the worst in the NFL. And Amari Cooper is like 50-50 if he's going to play or not. If he plays, good. If not, I'm not worried about it because you still have, I think Michael Gallup has a monster game.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dak's going to be able to sit there and throw on this defense, scoring points, which means that Carson Wentz is going to have to be able to match him toe for toe. And just in my opinion, I think this is a shootout, so I like Wentz in this one.
Yeah, me too. I'm kind of on the same train of thought. With that said, Alshon Jeffrey, you're firing him up.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz, fire him up. I don't think you're starting like the JJ or Sigel Whiteside. I know Deshaun's still out. It's pretty much those guys. Oh, the running back situation. I was saying as far as pass catchers. I think that's it. Yeah. Running back situation. I feel like, I mean, Jordan Howard's been somewhat consistent. Throughout the. Let me try and look up his actual numbers.
Jordan.
I mean, I think if you have Miles Sanders, you're playing him. There's no Darren Sproles in this matchup, so Miles Sanders obviously going to be more of the receiving back here. Jordan Howard, we've seen him kind of get incorporated in the passing game too, but I think you're playing both these running backs.
Yeah.
In a game where I said I think it's a shootout, you know. I think if I'm picking one over the other, I'd probably lean Miles Sanders though.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of on your side with that too. Especially in that he's just been more explosive when it comes to like the big plays.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are favored. You know, Jordan Howard, he's been getting 11 to like 15 carries. He's been 2 weeks without a catch though. I just looked that up. I thought he had catches in the last few weeks, but he hasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably go Miles Sanders. I think this is more of a like a shootout type of game. There, both teams are throwing downfield a little more, and that leans more towards Miles Sanders kind of you know, type of workload. So I think I'm kind of with you on that.
What about like so Miles Sanders? I think we both agree, but Jordan Howard maybe the question mark. So Jordan Howard or Kenyon Drake.
Drake PPR.
Drake and PPR.
Half PPR.
Howard's
Standard. Yeah, I think even half I'd maybe go Drake.
Mixon or Howard.
Howard.
No, so that one is like that's it. They're like right
I think
there.
I go Howard. Because I think there's the possibility that the Eagles are up on the Cowboys a little bit, and then they kind of could run the ball a little bit more. I don't think the Bengals get up ever.
Yeah, Carlos Hyde or Jordan Howard.
Hyde.
Melvin Gordon or Jordan Howard.
This tells you how much I'm kind of thinking about Melvin Gordon this week.
Too, yeah.
I didn't realize how much I would actually be thinking about it until like we were breaking down the matchups. Fuck me, Gordon PPR. He still catches the ball.
If you look at his fantasy points, Melvin Gordon's even though he's not been putting up the numbers last year, he's not doing terrible.
Yeah, I think I go Gordon.
He's still putting up 10 points.
And plus there's always the chance that they workload him too, where they give him 15 carries, 5-6 catches. Yeah. Gordon.
Yeah.
It's just Howard's lacks the PPR upside, so
For sure, yeah.
Gordon.
All right, like I said, Alshon, you're starting him. What about like an Aguilar, just in a game where that could be a shootout? You sneaky play, or has he just like burned you too many times? Then you're kind of like,
I feel like he's been kind of. I mean, I could be wrong.
You felt like a genius when you played him week 2 or week 3, and then week 4 you're like, okay, well, fuck me.
Yeah.
I'm probably shying away. I think
Yeah,
he's kind of just a low
options.
A dot type of guy. He needs the other receivers to be out to be like the focal point.
Yeah. I jumped to the other side of the ball because you're not starting Eagles defense here, are you?
You're obviously playing Zach Ertz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not starting Eagles defense.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Cowboys just lost to the Jets last week. What did Dak do? He threw some. He wasn't doing very good, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think I've had.
I just think that the Eagles' pass defense is terrible, and I think Dak at home, under the bright lights, I think they'll be able to throw on them.
Yeah.
Got you.
With that being said, you're dialing up Dak. I know the last couple games haven't been the greatest, but
This is the worst secondary to throw against. It's
yeah.
It's weird to think it's just so crazy how much defense has changed so fast.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like
Super.
a couple years ago to say that. 2 years ago, Eagles defense was
Yeah, they were good too. They
fucking
were like a
so
top
good.
like 3 defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just turnover defense is fast.
Yeah.
Like lose a player here or there changes the whole scheme.
Yeah.
Like you lose a lineman or brings pressure or linebacker or safety. There's these things we don't notice too because we're not like so in tune with like fantasy defense where it's like, oh, like we don't like really pay attention to all this. Cowboy side, I mean, you're dialing up Zeke. I think it's probably there's a chance this is his highest like PPR game of the year. Just kind of due to some game script. Michael Gallup, if Mark Cooper's not there, you start him. If Mark Cooper's there, you start him. Who's the other receivers? Randall Cobb. And who's Smith, right?
Devin Smith.
If there's no Cooper, are you considering any of those guys, or you just kind of like think it's more of a Gallup, Witten, Zeke type of thing?
I think Gallup is going to have a monster game. I think Cooper does play. But if he doesn't, Cobb was banged up too, right?
Yeah. I think someone was trying to ask Amari Cooper if he's going to play, and he was just like,
I got the knee.
He said, I got the knee.
Mike was like, I don't think he's ever speaks. So I was like, I don't think I've ever seen him.
No, Dre said that.
Dre said that, yeah.
Dre puts in
If
that
he doesn't
impression.
play,
That's what killed me
then
last.
Devin Smith's an interesting play because he is like that Deshaun Jackson kind of home run guy. But it's risk reward. You know, you have to know if you're playing him, in a pinch. Yeah, I feel like you're only playing him if you're in a pinch and you're looking for something crazy.
Yeah. I don't like to be pinched.
Yeah.
Cowboys defense?
No, I think this is a shootout. But they're at home.
I know they're without their top 2 corners, so it's like,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, people are saying bench Wentz. I'm like, for who?
Yeah.
You better have some good options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. We go into the Monday night game.
Monday Night Football.
With Jason Witten, did you talk about Jason Witten?
Yeah, I think we both said we like him this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah. I feel like we've brought his name up a few times, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like.
Skip over it. Got you. Monday night game. The Patriots are playing.
The Mono.
They actually, dude, they got a tough. They're playing the Jets.
What if
-10 in
You know
New
what their
York,
strategy should be? Is they should just
New
like
Jersey.
you know when they go to shake hands in the pregame, they should just have Sam Darnold go out there and just make out with Tom Brady.
Just
really
spit
fast.
in his
what we
hand.
should do is just like, hey, how you getting, man?
So he gets mono for the next 6 weeks.
Dude, I still don't get it. How do you get mono as a grown adult?
It's supposed to be from kissing.
He heard Danny Dimes was slinging that dick in New York, and he's like, "No, I'm the one who's
I'm
slinging dick in New York."
bro.
God damn it.
Makes sense, though, right?
Yeah, it does make sense. You're dropping facts right there.
All right, so Patriots side of the ball. I mean, you starting Tom fucking Brady or what?
That Tom Brady.
It's fucking Tom fucking Brady, bro.
I don't like Tom Brady.
But
are you starting
I
him?
hate him.
Would you start him? I don't.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
I'm starting Tom Brady.
because he'll just QB sneak it.
He offers that rushing upside that most quarterbacks don't.
Yeah.
And that's 3 QB sneaks from the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like 500 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Starting Tom Brady.
the running back situations where it gets tricky.
I feel like Tom Brady just looks up what his stats are, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna do this today. I gotta break this record." You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's all he does. He's like, "Oh, what's the rushing touchdown
For
record?
quarterback?
Ooh,
3?
I'm 2 away. All right, here we
right.
go."
I'm trying to look at because there's a lot of like injury reports right now for the Patriots.
Yeah, I got you,
Their
I got
position
you.
guys are all like
I got you, dude. I'm on it, dude. I'm so fast. Watch this,
the fastest guy I know.
bro. I'm fucking on it like phonics. Hooked on phonics.
Julian Edelman, you dial him up. Looking up the latest on like Dorsett and Gordon.
Yeah, like Josh Gordon's probably not going to play.
Yeah,
I'd just be prepared to not play him.
If he's out, what about Philip Dorsett this week?
If Josh Gordon's out, well, Josh Gordon is probably going to be out.
Yeah.
I do like Dorsett. If Dorsett and Gordon are out, I think a name like Jacoby Myers, that would be an interesting name. I know just Dorsett was, I think he practiced it on a limited fashion.
He's limited.
Yeah.
With a hamstring injury. But we've seen, Burkhead the last couple weeks, limited, and he didn't play.
What the hell's wrong with his foot? It's like 3 weeks to heal.
I don't know. Maybe he's got turf toe, but they don't say it. They just
Death toe.
Stress fracture.
Yeah, it's like they just say foot. Like, what is it? Plantar fasciitis? Is it like an Achilles? Like, is it a cat? Like, what is
Yeah.
it? Turf toe?
He's probably got a stress
Hey, Bill Belichick, why don't
fracture.
you stop being a fucking piece of shit and tell us what's going on?
Who's a bigger piece of shit, Bill Belichick or Big Ben?
Oh, Big Ben, hands down. That wasn't even close.
It was a no-brainer.
Bill Belichick's not a piece of shit. He's kind of a genius, but I just fucking hate him.
It's weird.
Big Ben is just a legit piece of shit.
Dude, I was watching this thing, and it was Big Ben was talking to this guy, and he was like interviewing him, and he's like, "Hey man," he's trying to be all energetic for his YouTube channel. He's like, "So we're gonna do some of these plays. We're gonna do all this. We're gonna throw some balls today. What? So I'm just curious, Ben. What do you do in the off season?" He's like, "What do you do? Do you do some like stretching or any type of like physical therapy just to keep yourself fresh when it comes to season time?" He's like, "No, I don't do anything."
That's Big Ben?
Yeah, Big Ben's like, when the season, no, it's over. Nothing. I don't know. Like, he literally just like, yeah, I don't do shit, bro. If you look at his body too, he has like a lazy fuck body too.
Yeah.
Like,
He's got like a dad bod for sure.
Right, definitely, dude. He don't do shit. Yeah, you can tell he doesn't do any type of warming up.
Just drink beers.
And the guy's like, "Oh, that's." He wanted to be like, "Oh, that's interesting." He's like, "No, yeah, dude, I don't do anything." It's so funny.
Anything else you got to say on that? No, I don't.
No.
I fucking don't.
No, I don't. Dude, it's like this guy, dude. That was my impression of Bill Blair. Go ahead.
Running back side. I feel like James White's due to score, but his volume's been down from what it was last year. I hate playing that due to score game because it can burn you. And you don't want to be burned by the fire. It's not nice.
Is Big Baby in?
That's going to affect something there. So the CJ Mosley's supposed to come back. He's like an all-pro middle linebacker for the Jets. He's from the Ravens last year.
Yeah.
He's been out since week 1 with a groin injury. I think it's a groin injury, but he's supposed to be coming back. So that's obviously going to affect the run game. I I don't really like Sony Michel in this matchup. I do think the Jets front seven is pretty good. I do think Burkhead comes back as well, which I think eats into those couple of targets and receptions that Sony Michel's gotten. And even some rushing attempts. We've seen, it's still just, I think people are forgetting, but that game that James White didn't play, that was a Rex Burkhead game, not a Sony Michel game. Like, the Rex Burkhead he was running the ball, he was the one catching the ball, and Sony Michel had, like, I don't know, nothing.
Yeah, if Burkhead comes back, Sony Michel's been like a 17, 18 carry guy, but if Burkhead comes back, that could easily drop into the 10, 11 range.
That's fun. That's really fun.
It's cute.
This is just why I stayed away from this backfield in general, because you're playing.
It's so frustrating.
You're playing roulette every single week, and I know we are from Vegas, and I do like to gamble, but
That's a fun game to win in.
this is just
fun game
gambling. You're gambling.
It's probably the funnest because you're like, whoa.
It bounces out of your number to something else.
Sick. Yeah, I'm not. I think the running backs this week in this matchup is kind of. I guess if you're playing Sony, you're kind of banking on that the Jets get blown out. Patriots are -10, and then they just give him the ball. With Burkhead being limited,
But we've seen that
I'm saying with
game script before, and it wasn't.
Even with that game script,
but what I'm saying,
still.
but if Burkhead was a full participant, that would possibly change. But with him being limited, I think that's still in the realm of possibility where it's like he's not they don't need to go out there and rush him back, and then they kind of game plan him more for the weeks coming.
Yeah.
So I would look at him like a flex play this week.
Yeah, he's on the RB3 flex.
Yeah,
but it's like if Burkhead's out, then it changes some things. I guess you got to watch. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with his foot. So it's like there's no like that.
Coach, I got that foot.
I can't find a report at all.
What's wrong, Rex? What's wrong with you? I got the foot. I got the foot. I don't know. Foot.
All right,
Foot no feel
we're
good.
spending too much
Foot.
time with this.
Yeah. But it's foot. I don't know. Foot.
So I think those guys are flex guys.
Is Rex Burkhead Andy Dalton's
I think
cousin?
I might flex Burkhead if he plays. Here's the thing. I'm in a pinch. Like I said, I need a sneaky start. He's there, but now I'm in a pinch of like, oh well, if I try to flex Burkhead, but he doesn't play, I'm fucked.
Yeah, because
So probably just not even.
You might have to start Wendell Smallwood.
Wendell Smallwood.
It is so funny that that's what you're doing right now.
Well, I told Rayner that's who I'm playing. One of my buddies, his name's Rayner. He's
More like
similar to Big Ben. He's a piece of shit too. But
he
I told
really
him,
is.
I told him, I was like, I'm gonna beat you this week with a fucking list of nobodies, and like when you're watching fantasy football and they'll be like touchdown Titans, and you'll be like, fuck yeah, Derrick Henry, and it'll be like, this guy scored, and you'll be like, who the fuck is that? Like, doesn't help anybody. And you're gonna look at my team, and that's gonna be my fucking player.
It's like Tyler Higbee. Yeah, I threw him in.
Wendell Smallwood, 30-yard receiving touchdown. You're like, that's whatever. Well, I got him.
Hell yeah, dude.
Starts Wendell Smallwood.
Bro, that's horny.
Fuck you, Rayner.
And Aaron Lizard.
Aaron Lizard.
Is it Aaron Lizard or Adam
Anthony.
Lizard? It's
Think you
Anthony.
get?
Patriots tight ends. No, they don't have OJ Howard yet, so you gotta wait.
That Ryan Izzo's out from concussion.
Yeah. Jets side because we spent 15 minutes on Patriots for no reason. Sam Darnold. No. Le'Veon Bell. Yes.
I'm not mad at
What
Sam
about-
Darnold in this one. Do you think Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold? Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think I'd actually go Darnold in the fact that they
Against
have to.
the Patriots defense?
Yeah, but people are so high in the Patriots even, and I get it. They are putting up points, and someone said like you can't discredit them for like who's been in front of them. They're like knocking them down, but they haven't played against anybody, and I get it. It's.
But
don't
I
know.
still think that their defense is pretty good.
No, I'm not
Like, if
discrediting
you
the
on paper,
defense, but
like, what do you
I think that Sam Darnold can actually take advantage of these weapons. Like I get Robbie Anderson's probably gonna get blanketed by Stephon Gilmore. He'll be out, but then Crowder, short PPR guy. I think PPR he's a usable asset, and then just a chain mover. Get some first downs, get some yardage. Demaryius Thomas. He kind of knows that defense, so he should be able to
But that
at
defense
least
knows him.
help. No, but I'm saying, but he should be able to help.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say that.
But I'm saying he should be able to help them at least understand, like, okay, like this is the type of defense they're running, or this is what they're doing. Like these are their calls. I would just think, he would. That's going to help them a little bit. And then you still have Le'Veon Bell out of the backfield who can catch the ball. I'm not mad at Darnold this week. I think you could do worse than Sam Darnold this week. Is what I was trying to say.
I don't know.
Well, beer bet Darnold versus Rodgers.
I don't know.
How about
I think I'm at the point where I can't think straight, so it was like hard for me to eat.
all right, Darnold or Kyler?
I'm Kyler.
Oh, Kyler.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
I'm starting Lamar Jackson
Oh, I'm
over
starting
Josh Allen.
This guy. It was like, I have Andy Dalton Lamar. I'm starting Lamar.
I like turtles.
Yeah, that was like, that's what it sounded like.
Okay.
I don't know.
How you guys think there will be some touchdowns this weekend? I think that some running backs will for sure get in the end zone this weekend. What do you guys think? There's definitely be a quarterback that throws for at least 2 touchdowns for sure.
I'm just trying to say, I think there's better. There's obviously better options than him, but there's could be worse options than him. He'd be a guy like if I got Mahomes, like you said, I'm going out and grabbing Darnold. You obviously can't play him because you played Mahomes this week. But if you have Mahomes, I go grab Darnold now.
He's a good guy to grab
for free
because he's got.
Who's
What?
it?
I think
All right.
Jaguars next week. Then after that, it gets really juicy. But the Jaguars still
they
aren't
have the
that,
easiest remaining schedule. So
Yeah.
Hey, wait. So who do you think's better, Tom Brady or Sam Darnold at kissing? Who's a better kisser?
I mean, Brady's better at kissing kids. But
Yeah, like depends on how old you are, I guess, huh?
yeah.
Interesting.
But Sam Darnold looks like he's
interesting
like 18.
stat.
Interesting stat.
Who holds their kisses? Maybe that's how you get money. You have to hold your kiss for like 30 seconds. Just
God. All right.
So-
We're right there, bro. At the finish line, guys. Let's wrap it up. Come on.
So Tom Brady is like 5 seconds away from getting mono, or what?
yeah, he's pretty close.
Dude, he almost gave his fucking 10-year-old mono.
What if he did?
God.
Can't go to school because my dad was kissing me for 30 seconds last night.
Dude, I seen it on someone's story. They were kissing their daughter. Like it was like she was like kissing her daughter on the lips, but it was like. But then it's like, bro, did you see that meme where the girl? It's like club, ass. The girl, like the single mom thing, single mom girl stories. It's like club, ass, giving kid cereal. That's like the next thing. I don't know where my brain's going. Okay.
Oh yeah, let's see that.
All right. So Le'Veon Bell, Jets side of the
What
ball.
was that, dude?
Le'Veon Bell, starting him.
Start
Yeah.
Well, the receiver side here. So, like I think I just said, Robbie Anderson. He had the monster game last week, 100+ yards, the long touchdown. But and I think better days are ahead for Robbie Anderson for sure. But I'd be fading him just because, like I said, Stephon Gilmore is one of the best corners in the league, and he pretty much owns Robbie Anderson. He's been blanketing him.
Yeah,
So no draft this week, huh?
He actually he bought all the shares of Toys R Us that were left.
Yeah. So I think the last 4 games that they've played, Stephon Gilmore has shadowed Robbie Anderson, and he's held him to under 25 yards in all 4 of those games.
Yeah,
so
it's not good.
that's not a good stat you want to see. But I do think a guy like Jameson Crowder, PPR wise, I think he's someone he could probably still play. Because we've seen with Darnold, I think it was like 15
Jesus
targets.
Christ.
So yeah,
Sorry, I'm looking at their matchups. James Carter, Robbie Anderson have the worst 2 matchups.
really.
Yeah, of all matchups.
I mean, yeah, I'd be fading Robbie. I think Crowder's still got a safe floor at least.
Yeah.
A 5 for 50 type is not out of there, especially in a game where they should be trailing. They are at home.
Yeah, it's McCourtney's. Yeah, they're both minus 34 and 35.
Yeah.
That's not looking too good.
Demarius Thomas, no.
I don't know. I know like I'm losing my thinking right now, but
Yeah.
it's like
It's just ugly. It's ugly.
yeah, it's like who's better, like Josh Allen or Sam Darnold? I mean, Sam Darnold might be a little better as a passer, but I mean, Josh Allen couldn't really put up points against this defense, so
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm just having a hard time seeing it right now.
No, I feel you. And then Chris Herndon, the tight end, he's hurt. But I
think he's out, right?
Yeah, he's hurt. He's out. Just stash him because when he comes back, he should be a pretty decent tight end going forward.
Yeah. Like I said, they have the easiest schedule going forward. I do like Chris Herndon, someone who could be like a second half type of guy. I think the Jets' offense is like, if Darnold's dropped after this week, which I think people who grabbed him knowing he has an easy schedule, so I don't think he'll really be dropped. But if he is, like he's someone I'd go grab if he's dropped next week going forward. So Robbie Anderson, if he's dropped, or Crowder's dropped, if these guys have bad weeks, like pick them up because they're going to be useful pieces down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree.
Just defense now.
All right, that's it.
All right, we did it.
We did it.
We did it.
We fucking
Here's the
did it.
thing, dude. We did it. We did it. We talked about the matchups and we did it. Hooray.
I wore the
We
headphones.
did it.
The first time I wore headphones the whole episode.
Dude, that's horny, dude.
I didn't like it.
I'm trying to
This will be the last episode.
turn horny into an adjective. Okay. Thank you for listening to the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode 31, season 2, matchups, week 7. We're almost halfway through, week 8 or week 9. I don't know. Here's the thing. Thank you for listening. If you want to help support the podcast, go check out Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy app. If you sign up right now, you put $10 in, use promo code AverageBros when you sign up. They will credit you an extra $10. $10. 10. Average Bros, sign up. I'm just trying to subliminally message some people.
Yeah, or if you just want to like be cool and like, you know, we're helping you out, you want to help us out, you want to Venmo us some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set up an Average Bros
GoFundMe. I'll throw a fucking Venmo link up there.
Dude, you won't?
Set up an Average Bros GoFundMe.
All right, I will.
Hey, Venmo us. If you won't Venmo us $1.
Yeah, you won't, pussy.
We should get some Sarah McLachlan music. And we could just all stand there just looking sad.
Yeah, you won't
Dude, we
Venmo us
should.
$1.
Yeah, you won't, you fucking little bitch.
All right, maybe you will.
If
If
you're
you won't
still-
Venmo us $5.
Yeah, you won't Venmo us $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's horny, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Could you imagine?
It's the horny episode.
Dude,
Yeah.
there's like some filthy rich guy out there, and he's just like, dude, I like these guys. All right, $500.
What if it's some filthy rich MILF?
Oh,
What if Sam Darnold's like, dude, I'll give you $500, but you have to get mono. I'm gonna give it to you,
Pass.
dude. I never had mono, but I remember like when I was younger, I wanted to get it.
So did I. I was like, man, dude, fuck that.
I was like, dude, I kiss, bro.
I kiss, bro.
I fuck, bro.
Well,
I
back
kiss
then, I think
so
you just
hard.
said kiss instead. I kiss hard, bro.
I kiss hard as fuck, dude. I used to practice in the shower all the time. Okay,
If the mouth
so
had an ass, I would
wait,
kiss
with who?
I would kiss the wall. Just kidding, I didn't do that. This
You
is
used to take
definitely
showers
did
with a
that.
guy named Wall.
Wally. Listen, I'm tired, dude. Let me end this.
All right.
This has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. Now, you support us through Thrive Fantasy, Venmo us. Follow us on Instagram if you want. We can answer your questions for you at AverageBros_fantasyfootball. We got you back. Okay?
Crack.
Okay, little boys. Okay. We'll keep you updated on there. Any type of injury, stuff like that. If you could leave us a 5-star rating and review on the Apple Podcast app, that really helps us out, and I would appreciate that. That'd be freaking horny, dude. 5-star review. Yep. What else? Thanks for listening. Horny boys out. Horny boys out. Horny boys out.